If you've ever been absolutely cooking with your sports parlays on a Sunday, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back. That's right. 3 dubs on Sunday out of 5 total bets. Man, oh man, we went 10x on our betting money on Sunday. And now it's time to roll some of those profits forward into the market here today. It's a Monday. It's New Year's Eve week. We just finished a Christmas week, and we got some selling going on here in the pre-market. We're going to break it all down for you right now. Good morning and welcome, folks, to another episode of Benzinga's Morning Market Show, where we get you prepped for all things market. Today, we are also going to have some fun because we're at the countdown to New Year's Eve. Or New Year's, I guess I should say. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. And a little pro tip that I didn't know until I spoke to a market veteran yesterday. Do you folks know why the market is open for a full day on New Year's Eve instead of a half day like Christmas Eve? Do you know the reason why it's open a full day? The reason is because of tax loss selling. Some people just need to wait until the very, very last minute. So that New Year's Eve day, they opted not to make it a half day just so those late stragglers could get in there and sell. Can you believe that? I love the half days, especially around the holidays. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive right in here. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. We start our day off, as we always do, with white chocolate mocha. Good morning. Chuck in the street. Oh, we're going to talk about Boeing. Don't you worry about that, Chuck. Kayla, good morning. Welcome back. Marcy, good morning. Welcome back. Roaring Mouse. We're done. We're done here today. The internet might have Roaring Kitty, but we have Roaring Mouse. Good to see you. Good morning. Another Chuck. We got multiple Chucks here. We're chucking it up this morning. Big Bees, happy Monday. Welcome back. Drew, welcome back. Hustle and Bustle. Bernhard, welcome back. Jane, great to see you. Jane woke up early, getting ready to ring that register here. Sun-kissed Yogi. Good morning. Sly Dog, what's up, dude? Welcome back. Jacob, welcome back. Fairchild, good day. Paul, welcome back. 3D in the house. Hello, 3D. And the producer says hello to you as well. Producer up here, just getting stuff ready behind the scenes there. Absolutely love it. Avaram, welcome. Hadid, nice to see you again, Hadid. You out here killing it. Diamond Hotline, welcome back. Voodoo, good morning, Voodoo. Welcome back. We got the whole group here. We got a lot of the early birds here today, or we have a lot of the group turning into early birds here today. You know I like that. Tom, good morning. All right, let's go ahead and start talking about the market. Enough of the good morning intros for everybody, although that is really fun. Let's go ahead and break down the market. A couple of things going on here this morning just to kind of get you caught up. First of all, we are right across the board. And the first story we're going to talk about is one of the reasons that we are red across the board here. It has to do with natural gas. So anyway, just a quick look at the futures here. S&P futures down almost a full percent here, down 0.9 in the morning. Dow futures down 0.8, and the NASDAQ down a full percent here. 0.97, so pretty much down a full percent here. Now, we were doing pretty good. Especially like really early this morning and in the overnight session, really not a whole lot. But recently, in fact, if we look inside at the SPY chart, you can see here, recently we really started to sell off. So you might be thinking, well, what's going on? This is what's going on. Natural gas futures rose by 11.38% to $3.77. So for all of you out there, that's going to be /NG or however your broker actually accepts commodities. I don't have a commodity feed here, otherwise I display it here for you. But the natural gas price hit $3.77. Ukraine has threatened to cease allowing Russian gas to flow across its territory from January 1 while at war. This could trigger retaliation from European Union territories that get gas supplies from Russia via those pipelines. So from what I gather here, first of all, let's separate the two things. We've actually been talking about how natural gas could be a really good trade going into 2025 and then also through 2025. And the thesis there had actually nothing to do with some of these global scenarios in which we cannot predict. The thesis there was this is going to be the clean energy source as we transfer more to nuclear, solar, and wind. Natural gas is going to be able to pick up the slack, whereas solar and wind are just simply not able to do that. We had Tim Melvin talking about how this was going to be a really good play. You had midstreams being potential plays on the thesis here of natural gas. If you didn't want to play the commodity itself or some of those crazy leveraged ETFs like Boyle and such. So the thesis of natural gas getting a lift, well, we're seeing that here. We're actually seeing almost a 11+% rise here this morning. So if you're already in that trade, awesome. You got a nice little pop here today. Now, the downside of that here is that we're talking about possible retaliation by other European unions. And I think that though that uncertainty is what's weighing on the market here today, and we're seeing the market sell off now across the board. SPY, NASDAQ, and Dow. Now, with us only being down 1% here, let's see, we're down 1% on the S&P futures. We're now down over 1% here on the NASDAQ, 1.06%, and we're down about 0.8 here on the Dow. With the weakness here early on, I wouldn't necessarily panic here, right? We're seeing a little bit of a dip here. We'll see what happens when the market actually opens, when the real volume shows up. You know, we might be in for a day where the market really kind of gets pounded here. My gut tells me that that's not going to happen. But nonetheless, we're going to play the hand we are dealt here today. So that's what's going on with the SPY right now. Let's see. We're going to get to that here in a sec. Big of bees. Sergeant Sexy. Good morning. Okay. Somebody brought. Okay. So that's what's going on here with the market. That's what's weighing on the market here today. We're going to see where this ends up finishing. The notable thing to take away from this is that we currently have the SPY back under the 50. All right, so that 50-day moving average is going to be that yellow line. The value there, 592.63. We did a really good job. We actually traded beneath that and then recaptured and closed above on Friday. That was really, really good news. Technically, that was great. Here this morning, with this story here in the move in natural gas, now we have a move down here in the SPY. We're currently at 589.36, so we're actually beneath that 50-day. And whether or not we close under that moving average is going to tell us what we can do going forward here, or what the market is likely to do going forward here. So really kind of an interesting setup. And I know we kind of talked about maybe this week being a little bit light. We've got another week that's shortened by a holiday here, and the holiday comes in the middle of the week. So wouldn't be surprised if this is a little bit of a light week, but we'll see what happens here on a Monday as we dip beneath this 50. Where we close should tell the story. All right. Okay. So that's pretty much where we're going. The other story that I wanted to mention here, and you know what, real quickly, if you wanted to stay on top of it, here is a story for that, for the natural gas and some of those other global things that are happening. Went ahead and threw that link in the chat here. But now we will talk about Jimmy Carter. Okay, so RIP Jimmy Carter, former U.S. president and Nobel Peace Prize winner, dies at 100. He was the oldest living president. He's actually very, very well known for what he did after his presidency, as the presidency that he had is not necessarily the pinnacle, but very, very good. I actually talked to a couple of my trader friends yesterday, and they were saying like the work that he did with Habitat for Humanity was really tremendous. In fact, one of the guys that I trade with here actually worked on one of those projects, said it was inspiring. So a lot of really good stuff there. Oldest living president, definitely sad to see. Rest in peace, obviously, to him, and hopefully his family is doing well. What this means for us is that the market is actually going to be closed on January 9th. So when a president dies, the market is closed. I believe that's the funeral day. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure yet. But the market looks like will be closed in observance of President Carter's passing on January 9th. Now, so there will be no market. I don't know what that means for us. I would imagine there's no way we're going to have a show here. Um, I don't know what the content is going to be, so stay tuned. I'll keep you updated on that. But with no market here, I'm not sure how we can do that. So January 9th, looking ahead here on the calendar, that is going to be Thursday of next week. So nothing this week. Thursday of next week, looks like we're going to have a third straight shortened market week, as the market will be closed on January 9th. All right. So again, I will continue to update you with what we're going to do here on that show. But that's what's going on here. That happened yesterday. Okay. Here we go. Now, for a little bit of a market overview, I'm going to go ahead and throw this story in here as well. Market overview. U.S. stock futures slip after Friday's fall. The Santa rally in doubt. Analyst calls for a bit of profit taking. So I'm not necessarily surprised to hear this at all, really, in any iteration. We have actually been talking on not only this show, but pretty much all of the shows, all of the discussion that we've been having as a community here, not only just in the BZ community, but you're seeing this also, on things like CNBC and Fox Business. There are a lot of people that feel like the market is awfully frothy and awfully overbought here. So profit taking to me doesn't seem strange, even a little bit. I mean, heck, we've been profit taking on some of the things that we've been holding for a long time here. So profit taking makes total sense here. Market's a little bit extended. I'm not really influenced by any of these. I expect to see a little bit more of these. Really, what I want to kind of figure out is, how does this market trade into early 2025? Does it look like we're going to have any continued strength? What sectors, what themes look to be hot? Are we correct on some of the themes that we're already looking at, like quantum, for example, drones, renewable energy, whatever the sector is? We're going to try and figure that out. So that's pretty much what's going on here. We'll see about the Santa rally. I know it's been kind of rough recently, right? The couple of trading days after Christmas here, it's been nothing but red arrows. So we'll see where we close here today, and then we'll see what we get in the first half of the year, or excuse me, the first couple of days of the new year, which will start here on Thursdays. I'm actually looking forward to that show on Thursday morning, January 2nd. We'll see which way we end up going on the first day of the new year. Easy for me to say. Okay. Now, the next big story here that's actually related to an individual stock is going to be on Boeing. I mean, I can't believe that we're still talking about more and more problems. Every time I feel like the bad news is out and it's priced into Boeing, more bad news shows up. And that's exactly what we have here. Boeing shares fall over 4% in Monday's pre-market as the airplane maker faces scrutiny after its deadliest 737-800 crash in South Korea. Now, let me go ahead. I think I put, that was the stock market rally. Here's the Boeing story here. Now, I was doing some reading into this. I actually saw the videos yesterday. They're, as you would imagine, they're horrific. I mean, first of all, I can't even imagine being on a plane that's going through some type of engine failure or crash or landing gear problem. I just can't even imagine it. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody, obviously. So just really, really terrible news here, really terrifying stuff. Now, the one thing that we did hear, I actually heard this on CNBC this morning. Apparently, for this flight on Sunday, and here, I'll actually go to the article here real quick. Jeju Air crash landed at Muan International Airport. The plane carrying 175 passengers and 6 crew members skidded off the runway, hit a wall, and burst into flames, resulted in 179 lost lives. Looks like 2 people were saved there. Now, I heard that there was communication by the tower about a potential bird strike. Now, I don't know how bird strikes really kind of played into a lot of these different accidents, but I would imagine that I know it seems ridiculous, but I would imagine that would be a fairly important detail, right? Because if a bird strike is actually responsible for an engine failure or something like that, I feel like that would be less responsibility on Boeing, in particular, if they did any type of investigation into this. So, Chuck in the street, you had said earlier, I was trying to bookmark your comment here, was yesterday a news catalyst for Boeing? How far does it go down, and why did it only go $9 down? Okay, so now let's take a look at the chart here. So Boeing's actually only down about $6 right now, down about 3.5% here. You can see we're down a little bit more. If we look inside here on the chart, you can see as soon as this trading opened, Boeing actually was down 3 points more than where it's at now. So a couple of things here. Number one, I suspect that as more of the details come out about I want to call it a bird crash just because I want to be as optimistic as possible. But as more details come out about these plane crashes, part of me wonders if some of the blame will be lifted from Boeing if there was something else going on, whether it be bird strikes, airport maintenance, whatever the case is. So that part is kind of why I think we're seeing some of the reaction here. Now, the other part of this, and this sounds crazy, because we're having plane crashes where people are losing their lives, which is absolutely terrible. It seems like a lot of the bad news is really kind of baked into Boeing. And a lot of the times when it has some of this news, as far as trading goes, if you get bad news that comes out about a company and it pretty much just kind of takes it and stomachs it, the trade there might be kind of a long side trade. So I want to know I want to know how this trades when it opens. It's easy for me to sit here and kind of take this approach because I have no position on Boeing. Sure, I'm sure one of the mutual funds or some fund from my 401k or my IRA, whatever the case is, probably has Boeing or maybe did at some point. I don't actually hold this directly myself. So it's easy for me to just kind of play the wait and see game here. But Chuck, I think you're asking, well, why isn't the thing down more? Well, it seems like there's a little bit of uncertainty about some of the details here, what actually caused it. And then two, there's a lot of bad news really kind of already baked in here. So unless this is something new that investigators, engineers, maintenance people didn't know about, it looks bad on the surface, but I'm just not sure how much new news is in there. So that's where I would go with that without knowing more specifics about each individual accident. And I'll be honest, Chuck, I did see some of this stuff floating around on X yesterday. I was pretty locked in. I was pretty locked into sports on my day off there yesterday, especially after I started making bank with the bets. Just saying. So we're going to see how this shakes out here today. One of the other things I'm going to watch about Boeing is going to be option flow. I want to know what the option market is doing here, because if there's a bigger move coming in Boeing, either up or down, the options might tip the hand to that move. We might be able to take advantage of that. Okay. So really shitty news here. Apologize for my language, but I as someone that has a lot of family that travels, a lot of friends that travel, and I travel a good amount myself, it's really scary to see a lot of the, airplanes just around the world, not even just in America, but around the world, really kind of struggle and have crashes. It's really, really terrible. There's no way for me to spin that. Hadid saying everything is now being blamed on Boeing, which is messed up. Some of these planes are super old and should have been replaced. So Hadid, this is a really, really good point. When you're down, right, it's easy for others to pile on. And I'm not trying to absolve Boeing of blame. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of blame to go around, but you're right. A lot of these planes are old. And if maintenance wasn't done properly or wasn't done within the right schedule, then that's kind of at fault. And this is kind of what I mean when it comes to Boeing. Like, let's see if we get what if one of these planes that crashed or had a problem had some questionable maintenance several weeks or a month ago. That might also play into the investigation. So a lot of stuff to go on to go in here. Hadid, I think you bring up a really good point. All right. SFL Trade says, looks like he had a hydraulic failure and lack of training. That would be something else. Now let me ask you something. If the pilot looked to be improperly trained, and I am not saying that is the case, I am merely speculating. If it turns out that if it was pilot error, what should that do to Boeing, right? I feel like Boeing wouldn't necessarily sell off on menus. But again, we'll see. We'll see what happens, especially when the market opens here. Chris, good morning. It's great to see you. What happened to the SPY? Was there news? Yes, it had to do with the natural gas, right? So natural gas futures spiked by 11.38%. Ukraine threatened to cease allowing Russian gas to flow across its territory from January 1 while at war. And the fear here is that this could trigger retaliation from other European Union territories. So that's why you're seeing this weakness across the board here, Chris. S&P futures down almost 1% here. NASDAQ futures are down 1%, and the Dow futures down 0.8 here. So we're actually up off the lows, but we are still down here. Okay, let's see. Did I miss anything here? Big B saying, "Oh my God, the video of the engine explosion was captured on the ground during approach." That stuff scares me, man. It's just, it's terrible. Go Bills! Yeah, Bills look really strong, and the Giants winning. That's in that interesting. Giants winning means that first overall pick puts the Patriots in the catbird seat. They have their quarterback. We're probably going to see another trade at the top of the draft. Oh, man, bring on April. Bernard, they normally can fly on one engine. Remember the landing in the Hudson River with both engines out? Yeah, indeed. And again, like I said, there's going to be more details kind of leaking out that are likely going to affect this BA trade. But it's definitely one to have on our watch list here today. I'll probably determine based on option flow which direction we're going to trade this here. Okay, really good stuff there, group. Really good stuff there. I guess we should take a look really quickly at the daily chart here. One level on Boeing to keep in mind is going to be that 200-day. That's at 170-ish, 169.75 here. Current price is at 174.75. So we're about 4 points away for that. I'll tell you what, if you're going to trade Boeing any type of way to the long side, you really want that moving average to be held there. You really want that 200. You really want the price to stay above the 200. Boeing's had a really nice move off this trend line, this long-term trend line that pretty much goes to the COVID low. We've had a really nice bounce recently that has recaptured a lot of these moving averages. We really don't want to give this up in short order. That would spell more downside to Boeing. Okay. Next here, we have some of the high flyers that we have been talking about. NVIDIA let me actually just go to the chart here because I'm sure we want to take a look at NVIDIA every day, frankly, to see where NVIDIA is at here. Now, interestingly enough, we did have this kind of head and shoulders formation. NVIDIA did kind of break down, but it really found some support at its 100-day moving average. We have that down at 130. We are up off those lows a little bit, but we've really struggled to break higher here. We've struggled to get above the 50-day moving average. We've struggled to reclaim the trend line. We've struggled to reclaim 140, 141 area here on NVIDIA. So the bias is still to the downside as far as I'm concerned here, which I think in the long run is actually going to be great for us as more people move out of these highly concentrated stocks into other areas of the market. I think that bodes well for 2025. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. NVIDIA was the blue chip star of 2024, and indeed that is the case. But trailblazers in the small cap universe charted exhilarating gains, and here are the chart toppers. So we're going to start here by looking at NVIDIA. This was obviously probably the play of 2024, just huge run. But there are plenty of other stocks, and I don't just mean some of these little stocks that we trade. I mean, there were plenty of other stocks that had really sizable moves and really good wealth moves, and you folks know a lot about them. First one here is going to be Cooler. I like to call this a 13 favorite. He's been on this for a long time. Actually, one of my mentors, Sandman, has been on this for a long time as well. Cooler has had a massive run here. Now, the only issue with Cooler is that this, to me, it feels like this trade has already kind of gone, right? So if you're not in this, you might be kind of feeling, oh, maybe a regression back to the mean here. I'm not hugely keen on shorting $4 stocks. You really have limited upside or downside, as it may be, in that short. But this stock probably needs a break. It doesn't look like there's another trade here unless this comes in and holds a specific level. We'll see what kind of levels this thing can create over the next couple of sessions, maybe the beginning month of the year in 2025. That actually might give us a basis to kind of trade this name. But for right now, it sure seems like it's gone. Our cat, this is another one that our group has just absolutely been crushing recently. It's just been, I feel like there's been tons of money made on this name. And this one too looks like the big trade has already happened. I mean, remember, we have been talking about this thing since it's been a single digit or single dollar stock. I had a couple of people adding this in the cents, just in under a dollar. Really, really good stuff. Now, we did recently take out this high here from the beginning of December. We've pulled back to that level, so you could absolutely make a case that our cap might kind of consolidate here, find some support here, and then maybe kind of trade off this level. We'll see if that's the case. We'll see if we end up getting that here. I'd actually really like this to come in. You can see when we've come into the 20-day moving average before, this has actually bounced pretty nicely from here. I'd love that. I think that long term, if we kind of hash out some of these key levels, we can really make the next move here in our cat. Don't want to chase this name. So if we come into any of those support levels and we really kind of do a good job holding there might be another trade, but this is definitely going to be another one in the drone theme, obviously, to watch in early 2025. Not necessarily sure about another trade there. But another one that I wanted to bring up, and this one might cause controversy. We'll see, though. Sezzle, ticker SEZL. Now, this is extremely interesting to me. Number one, because first of all, this was just a massive winner given out by Tim Melvin. I think it was September 18th. I'm not sure of the exact day, but I'm pretty sure it was September 18th. Tim Melvin recommended this to our group at $150, right? So September 18, right in here, stock was $147, right? So I'm estimating, right? Continued to trade up. I actually did take this trade. Thought I was doing really good when I sold it at 250. I was like, oh man, we made about 100 points there. Really small trade, but still, that was really good. And then this thing went absolutely crazy. Had a huge earnings report that really pumped this thing. See, 452. We came back in, held the bottom of that candle, which you guys know I love to see. Absolutely love this. And then we actually set some new highs. We started to back off that area a little bit, and now we recently had a short report. This was I believe this was Fuzzy Panda. Let me see if I get that correct here. Oh no, it was Hindenburg. Excuse me. So Hindenburg, one of our better short reporters, better in terms of the quality of research that they do and whether or not their calls end up being correct, came out here on Sezzle and really kind of drove this down. The interesting part, though, we filled the gap to the downside. Now we're kind of consolidating. In this process, we've actually tested the 100-day and held the 100-day. And we're a ways away here from the 50-day. So I'm just kind of looking at this chart here. And, you know, Hindenburg, they've been really good, especially recently, especially in 2024. I have no, I'm not trying to argue with them or with their report. They do their research. Their research has been really good. They've made us money. So not a comment to them. This is purely a comment here on the chart. Does it look like to anyone else that Sezzle might be looking for another move higher here? Maybe if it doesn't even hold that move higher, maybe if it does go higher and then gets pounded down to the lows as more investigations into that short report happen. And all. I don't know. I'm just saying that looking at the chart right now, it's actually a pretty interesting spot. So I have no position on this. I would be interested in taking a look at this again. Again, a couple of things have been checked here, right? Filled the gap to the downside. Sweet. All right. Sold some of the recent move higher. Sweet. Actually held here at the 100-day. Great. And I see some pretty clear levels above here. So I would say that if Sezzle can really kind of turn around here, maybe take the top of the December 23rd candle. That high was 284.72. So maybe a 285 break higher here sends Sezzle for a potential 300 test and maybe even a move above 300. Again, the 50-day moving average there at 311.75. So this thing's pretty thin. It trades pretty thin. This is the buy now, pay later big boy, one of the leaders in that space. I'm not sure how you feel about buy now, pay later, but in any case, this chart looking kind of appealing. So I'll let you know if I do take a small swing trade on this. Nothing right now, but definitely wanted to mention that. As far as some of these other stocks that have really moved here, Dave is definitely one that we should take a look at. Jay Rice, I don't know if Jay Rice is out here yet today. Jay Rice has been all over Dave for a long time. He was actually channel trading this. He was calling it out here live in our show. So another money maker here on Dave. This has kind of like a janky triple top. This sure looks like this is not trying to break down at all. So I'd be watching for maybe a 103 pop here. Looks like the high print here was from the December 17th candle. We've got that at 108.50. I'd be looking for maybe another exhaustion move higher here on Dave if it can break out of this formation here. Looking pretty good. I'm not sure when the strength kind of abates on this one. It has moved fairly well. I mean, it's had a really good 2024. Just to kind of keep in mind here, let's see. This stock today, stock's up 1,100% in 2024. Am I getting that right? I mean, oh my goodness. Just been a massive move higher here. So you are kind of at the tail end of this move. We'll see if this does well in 2025. But the chart, pretty appealing here. Another former winner from our group, from Jay Rice here. And then, of course, the quantum names. And you folks already know all about these names because, hell, we've been trading them here for what feels like weeks at this point now. QMCO, this one of the highest priced quantum names. One of the reasons why I wanted to start with this one, look at the shooting star candle on this one. I'll tell you what, just by looking at the candle here, it sure seems to me like this wants to kind of come back in a little bit. I'm not sure I feel comfortable shorting that one. Not yet, anyway. Despite this candle here, a lot of strength here. And then there's a ton of other names. You guys have already mentioned them here today. Rigetti would be another one. This not quite as ugly of a shooting star candle there. It looks like an extended range doji here. QUBT would be another one. This chart actually doesn't look bad at all, right? We had a nice little impulse move and some consolidation. This actually, to me, looks like a break above 20, might send it higher. We'll see. QBTS would be another one that really kind of fits into this theme as well. This chart has been crazy again, maybe an indecision point here, but not a crazy shooting star candle. And then IONQ, another one of Wall Street's favorite quantum names here. This probably the easiest chart to kind of hold on to as this continues to move higher here. So the quantum names, will these continue into 2025? I'd love to get your opinion on this. I would love to hear, are you folks, are you building a position in quantum names? I would hope that you've already taken some gains because, like I said, we've seen a lot of action here in some of these names back and forth. So hopefully you've already taken some of those. But what do you think about 2025 for quantum? Is this a theme that is going to continue? Is this a theme that's going to expand and proliferate? And might there be more opportunities here? Would love to hear from the group on that. Those were the chart toppers there for at least the end of 2024 here. And then last, one of our favorite stocks, maybe favorite's the wrong word. That might be a little strong. But one of the stocks that we've traded here quite a bit. I went ahead and threw this article in the chat as well. This is going to be FFIE, Faraday Future. All right. So why is Faraday Future trading higher here today? And actually, let's check in on FFIE, see where we are. Okay, so we're still up here about 24%. Stock's up 42 cents here. You can see we had a nice little day there on Friday. We actually went higher in the after hours. We're holding higher here in the pre-market. We're not breaking back down. What's going on here? Luke Hans, a renowned entrepreneur with ventures in real estate, car rental, oil, pharmaceuticals, and film production across China, Canada, and the U.S., joined Faraday Future as a FF developer co-creation officer. Looks like he will receive the first Faraday Future 91 2.0 Future Alliance EV of 2025 during a January delivery. So they're going to have a ceremony there. I don't know how that's going to affect the stock. I'll be honest with you. I'd love to hear from you folks. I don't know who Luke Hans is. Sorry if I should. if I should know who this guy is, I don't. So I'd like to know what, is this news important to any of you folks? I know it's important to FFIE because FFIE is responding to it. And frankly, this is a stock that we are no stranger to trading this year. We've seen a number of different catalysts come out on this name, and this name responds to it, and we end up trading it. So that's what's going on here again. I just don't know much about Lucan, so you guys are going to have to help me out with that. We'll see. We'll see if the EV deliverables ramp going forward. Okay, let's see. Let's go. I know I was rambling a lot there, but I really wanted to get that. That's pretty much all I have for the news here. Producer, you'd have to let me know if anything else broke while I was popping off there. I don't think so. The market does look like it's trying to move lower, though. That's the one thing. Yeah, I don't see any other big news here. PGen, that's a penny stock. That's up. Share repurchase for Aurora Mobile. GNS, this penny stock's up by 18%. Looks like a lot of penny stocks are moving here today. PLRZ, I know you folks are going to want to talk about that. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. NLSP F4 registration statement with the SEC and ahead of a proposed merger. Wow. So we've pretty much covered all of the news here. Let me see. What did I miss real quick? MSTR had a crazy year. Indeed, it did. And I think that the MSTR thing, right? I think there's going to be a lot more of that. I don't think Bitcoin's going anywhere. MSTR seems to be in the news all the time. I know it's lower here today. We'll see if this holds on to 300. Here's our quick looking at the daily chart. I will say, sure looks like this head and shoulders is resolving as we come back in a little bit lower. My next spot on MSTR, I probably put it right here. I call it 280. Right, this 280 area should be a support. If you want to make the case that this breaks down to 265 and find support there, I wouldn't fight you on that either. Maybe let's call that an area 265 to 280. Your next likely support area here for MSTR. Looks like that head and shoulders pattern did end up winning the day as it broke beneath our support levels. I don't think the story's over here for MicroStrategy or Bitcoin. I think we're going to have a lot of news on those fronts in 2025. Okay. Looks like Lion Atlas saying he's going to short MicroStrategy today. Lion Atlas, I know you're a Bitcoin bull, so that must just kind of be a short-term trade here as you're just trying to collect some gains. Keith's asking, how about Apple, Lord Ryan? Apple here is falling with the rest of the market. I didn't think there was anything news here. BTIG market technician cautions Apple heading into January. I may have heard that a million times. Yeah, I don't really see any other news here on Apple. I would imagine, given the good year that it had in 2024, I know early in 2024, this actually kind of sold off, but it ended up having a really good year regardless. I wouldn't be surprised if there were more people that maybe kind of held out to the end of the year here and took some gains next year. Maybe you get some selling as people are booking their winners here in Apple, but this just seems like more of the safety trade. It seems to me like of all of those Mag 7 names, this one's probably the easiest to hold. That would be my guess. So Apple for me, this is I hate to even say this, guys, but I think Kramer got this one right. This is one where you own it, don't trade it. If you want to trade around a core position, maybe that would work here. I've done that a few times, but this is just kind of a hold at the moment right now, Keith. Roaring Mouse, too late to jump in on ONDS. Okay, so interesting question here. So I want to say like the conservative in me wants to say yes, right? We've had a huge move very, very quickly. So telling you, yeah, this is a really good time and having the stock pull back 50% would make me look like a complete moron. And I don't want to do that. And I certainly don't want to do that to you. What I will say here is that this is a company I've been following for a long time. One of the guys that I consider my mentors also kind of been following this one. So I have my own feelings about this one. I've been down on this, been bag holding this for a while. So I have a much larger time horizon, and I really do want to see double digits on this one. Honestly, I really want to see double digits on this, and I think it's possible. And I don't think that, we're going to see that here in the next couple of weeks. So I don't think buying now, hoping for a move to double digits in short order is a good trade plan. But I'm looking at this. I will say this thing really kind of breaks above 350. I'll start probably taking some chunks off just to make sure I get paid in case it does come back in. But again, I have a longer term time horizon here. So as far as what you folks, if you're looking for this, first of all, I would obviously do your homework. But if you're looking for a longer term trade on this one, I would really wait for this to kind of pull back down to a level that it's looking to carve out. One of the things that has really kind of juiced this is that the stock needed to regain compliance. Then it needed to trade for 10 consecutive days above $1. It did all of that. We've also seen contract news. We're expecting more contract news in 2025, and we're expecting the drone theme to proliferate, hopefully making those contracts either higher numbers or more frequent. So that's kind of the theme there. As far as short-term gains, look, any of these drone names that have been kind of hot in this theme, I mean, that's an entirely different story, right? You can absolutely trade all of those. I mean, RCAT, Mob, ONDS. There are a ton of drone names that you could just kind of trade just for the purpose of trading back and forth. And in that case, I think ONDS is in a really good theme, and it kind of fits that right now. So I think that would be a good move. But in terms of just kind of loading up on this, I'd be more tactical than that. I wouldn't necessarily just kind of outright do it. Okay. Good question, though. Christian, did you guys already talk about Boeing? Yes, that was one of the first things that I covered. Absolutely. AMD have a chance. So I think you're asking, does AMD have a chance? A chance at what? What do you mean? As far as the next trade here on AMD, we're kind of waiting, right? We want to see a recapture of this 130 area. We're currently at 124 here. This is going to move with the market. So if we do get, I know we're lower here. If we continue to move lower, I would expect AMD to move lower. Really want to hold on to that 120 on AMD. I think if we lose this, we're probably going to hunt lower. I'd probably put that right around 100. So I would say if we lose 120 on AMD, you're probably going to test that $100 level to the downside. We'll see if that ends up holding here. Is there any hope? Yes, I do. I think any of these chip stocks, there's going to be plenty of hope in there. The move to AI, all of that stuff, all of these products are going to be in demand. I know AMD is kind of a little bit of a laggard when it comes to AI. But one new product can make up for that in a hurry. I don't love the spot that it's at right now. I think it's a good company long term, but I just don't love the spot where the chart's at right now. Really, one of the things I'd be waiting for here is a break in trend or a change in trend. And one of the things I'd be using for that is, are we able to capture and take out some of these moving averages? If we're able to do that, things could change pretty quickly. Diamond Hotline, how many % of your trades are option trades? Diamond, couple of things. Number one, I don't think it's valuable at all to take what I do and then apply it to yourself. I think you kind of need to figure that out on your own. What I would say is that what percentage, I don't have stats on that at the top of my head. I would say probably 10% or less are option trades. Okay, 10% or less. I use options in a way where it allows me to define my risk ahead of time. I think that's the best part about it. So that is to say, if I have a hunch on something and I'd say, I could put $1,000 to work here on that hunch, options are a really good way to do that. You don't have to invest multiple thousands, 10, 15 or whatever. Just take a position. You can really kind of define your risk ahead of time pretty easily. So I like it for that. And recently I've had two bangers back to back. I have the Lockheed Martin 500-day moving average bounce was crispy. We took calls overnight. This trade literally paid overnight right here, bought them right here, sold into the huge move the next day, took profits from that, and then rolled those into VRTX for the same type of thing. 500-day moving average bounce and hold. these worked. They happened to work. I took very, very short dated options. I had a very, very clear trade plan there. It either was going to work or it wasn't going to work. And two of them ended up working back to back. That's not always the case. Generally speaking, especially when we do the live trading here, what you're seeing me do is live trade stock. Okay. All right. It is 8:45. You know what that means. It's time for 13. We're going to go ahead and bring him on and see how his weekend was. 13, good morning.
Hello.
Monday. How was your weekend, dude?
Oh, it was fun. I had a party at my house.
Oh, right.
Had a bunch of people over, did all kinds of games, and yeah, it was good stuff. It was fun. And
okay, awesome.
I spent all day Sunday recovering.
Okay, look, here's the thing. If Sunday, the day of rest, if you spend the day of rest recovering, that means you did something right. So really good stuff. My only follow-up question is, are you ready for the market here today?
Oh, yeah. There's some really interesting things that we can, jump into here. I mean, of course, we got a whole bunch of more of that Boeing news, and see that you're have already been talking about it.
Yeah. Do you want to start there? I mean, we'll start wherever you want. 13. Call the ball,
I mean,
baby.
Let's. Yeah. I mean, because we got the news of the South Korean flight crashing, and I watched that crash, and as horrible as it was, I had a lot of questions about why did they burn off more fuel? Why didn't they have the flaps down? They were skidding across that runway way too fast. There was a lot more going on than just landing gear issues, it seemed to me. And I don't know how. I've never heard of a bird strike. I guess that's what they were saying was the cause.
So it's. I'm glad that you brought that up here. I'm glad that you brought that up. That's really good stuff with skidding across the one way, the flaps, and all that. I'm not a pilot, so that you might as well be speaking Chinese to me. But that's a really good point. I didn't see or read anything about that bird strike until this morning, 13. One of the first things that I saw on CNBC when they talked about this was that there was a potential bird strike.
Yeah.
And they used the word potential. So one of the things that I had said with Boeing when I got asked about this initially is, let's see what else kind of comes out about these crashes. And right away, you did exactly that. You were talking about some of the other things that are going on here that are likely to affect this. It might not just be a faulty landing gear. And that would matter for the price action.
I'm not done.
I didn't think you were.
So following that crash, and I believe it happened earlier today over in South Korea, there was another flight that had to make an emergency landing for a landing gear issue. Now, this one landed safely. Everything was okay. But they somehow were able to rectify the problem in the skies, and then they were able to land and everything was okay. But now South Korea is opening an investigation into all of their 737s. I think they have 101 737s in the country. So, or at least that with that company, but I think it's in the entire country. So that's, I think, another big reason why you're seeing Boeing down today is because there's now another issue going on where investigations are hampering, I think maybe even sales or maintenance. Anyway, the problem is that now we have the South Korean government concerned about the safety of these aircraft, and I think they grounded. I'd have to double check and see if that's the case, but I think they grounded the 737s until the investigation is complete. I'm not 100% sure about that though, but they did open an investigation as a result of the second aircraft having landing gear issues.
Yeah, so right here, following a crash on Sunday that killed all but 2 of the 181 people on board, South Korea plans to inspect all Boeing 737-800 Boeing aircraft operating in their fleet. So it looks like, I would imagine that the only way for them to examine all of them would be to ground that fleet, 13. So.
Yeah. So, like I said, I don't know what's going to come out of these Boeing investigations or why they're having landing gear issues, but there was a lot more going on there than just landing gear issues, especially if you're trying to make them. I mean, I've had pilots in the family. I've had I've watched lots of crashes and landings with landing gear issues unfold. They burn off the fuel before they make a descent and try to land it. So there's a lot of things that was really, really weird about why they didn't do this, they didn't do that, they didn't do this. It seemed like there was a lot of other problems going on besides just this landing gear issue. But anyway, I think we covered enough about Boeing right now as far as the news goes.
Yep. Sorry, let me just finish this here.
And
Okay.
then,
All right. Did you have any levels that you wanted to go over
you know what? That's
or
a good
anything? Did you
point.
have a trade plan on this? I know we're kind of waiting for more information to come out, but figure we might as well go over some of that.
Yeah, I don't know how far this is going to fall as a result of this, and we are still in the beginning of this whole issue. So let's start with need to see the 200-day SMA hold up. I mean, I
Okay.
don't think it is. You look at the daily chart and you see how the RSI is like approaching 78.
Yeah.
Because it just had a nice rebound off of 140.
And off of the trend line that goes all the way back to COVID.
Yeah, exactly. So this thing is going to come in one way or the other, whether it's an RSI, it's coming in from RSI, or it's just this news they have. I don't know that the 200 days is necessarily going to hold up. I think we might be wanting to look closer towards the 50-day SMA, which also has a nice support level around 160.
Okay. Wow. So there you go. Looks like you're saying that the next spot here, that 170-ish area, which is where the 200 is, and then 157.65 or 160-ish, which is where that 50-day is. Okay. Good stuff there, 13. We'll see if we end up getting that. Okay. Real quick here, let me just go through this. Brian saying, didn't American Airlines cancel flights on Christmas Eve for some quote technical issue? So they didn't cancel them. They issued a ground stop, but they had that figured out within an hour. And I actually am not sure any flights were canceled. I think they just worked their way through the delay there. Really poor timing for that being one of the busiest traffic days of the year. But that to me seems completely unrelated to this. And they were able to kind of get that fixed up pretty quickly. All right, 13. I haven't done any movers yet. Where did you want to go next?
Sure, we can start with movers.
We can go wherever you want. We got the news wire is not popping a whole lot today. I know that the market is a little weak here in the pre-market, but there's not a whole lot of news out there, so we can really go any direction you want. Charts, setups.
We can start with some of these movers, but I think what we're going to really want to dive into is what's going on with natural gas. I mean, I don't know if you've caught some of the news about.
I did. I did. So real quickly here again, just to kind of recap, this is what I opened the show with here. This is likely why we're moving lower here on the SPY. Natural gas futures rose by 11.38% to 377. Ukraine has threatened to cease allowing Russian gas to flow across its territory from January 1st while at war. This could trigger retaliation from European Union territories to get gas supplies from Russia via the pipeline. So 13, what do you make of that?
Well, it sounds like there's going to be a temporary supply issue unless the United States lifts those export controls we've been talking about for a while. So, yeah, I mean, the headline that you have here is what I was referring to, and we know that we talked about before about how Ukraine has that station that they captured ever since they entered the Kursk region.
Mm-hmm.
So. I feel like this is just exacerbating the natural gas issue, and Ukraine has a big hold on this. So there's two ways that we can kind of play this as far as news goes. And one is going to be the export controls. The other is having to do with the this Ukraine and Russian war. So if this gets resolved, because Trump's talking about coming in and ending this, that could be another catalyst that causes. This problem to alleviate, but I don't think it'll end there. I think natural gas. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place this morning with this, but I think we should be taking a look at tankers specifically, and how we're going to get natural gas from over here over to Europe.
Okay,
I think that's going to be the big issue.
Okay, so that's not all over the place. That's really good stuff.
My mind is all over the place right now.
Yeah, well, look, that's what happens after a weekend of partying on an early Monday, 13. I think we'll allow that. That's no problem at all. It sounds to me like, as far as the trade goes here, you think that the way to capture gains here would be looking for the thing behind the thing, right? How are they going to transport this natural gas? So if they're saying that if Ukraine has threatened to cease allowing Russian gas to flow, maybe the United States gas can kind of fill that void there, and thus the way in which that gas is transported across the ocean is the play. Interesting stuff there. We'll start here real quick with RP Trades. I guess I just ask you here, or really anyone else that wants to comment here. here. RP Trades is asking, does this mean that ticker LNG, Cheniere, is a good buy right now? So I'd throw that to you. I know that you were just kind of talking about the thing behind the thing here. What do you think about LNG? Are you bullish on that? I'll say this. My knee-jerk reaction would be yes, this would be a good thing for Cheniere. And looking at the chart here, we've recently done a really good job holding the 50-day. What's to say that we can't make another move back towards those highs?
Yeah, like bouncing off the 50-day SMA and retaking the 20. Sure. So if you have a fiduciary or financial advisor that's helping you manage your portfolio, this would be a great question for them. As for me, I think that you could pick a lot of different names and they might be good, but there's some companies that are stronger than others and are more well positioned than others, and that's why I'm making the suggestion to talk to somebody who in the world who keeps an eye on these things, because they'll know which ones have the better qualitative performance. So as far as LNG goes, because I think this is one that we may have brought up before, right? Maybe in happy hour.
Yeah, LNG is one that we've talked about quite a bit here. We've talked about this for potential long-term holds as well. And I think, was this? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. Yeah, this was mentioned as a dividend play. Only yields about 1%, but that was one of the other things that we had. Yes, we did.
So I mean, I see how this is. I mean, I like this one, and I think it is due to turn around here, because I'm looking at the MACD and it's really starting to curl back up. RSI isn't very high. We did, pretty much go. We have been going sideways for a long time, and only recently broke out this summer. So the only concern is that we do this does come in a little bit before it goes. That would be my only concern, just based on the way this price action we have here looks. So I don't want to just say, yeah, go ahead and just jump in and get this and you'll be fine. I don't know that for 100% fact. Just looking at the chart here, it looks like there's going to be, it could lose the 50 before it regains it and comes back up. So I'm just a little concerned specifically for LNG, just based on the way the chart looks. But that's the risk that you're going to have to take if this is the one that you want to be in. I think there might be some better LNG plays out there, because this one looks pretty expensive.
Okay. Real good stuff there. I just took it because it was thrown into the chat here. That chatter has said I was just thinking out loud. So maybe I ambushed him a little bit. We will get to NXU here in a sec. That wasn't a natural gas play, was that, NXU? You guys are just talking about low price mover. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, this is a mover.
This is EV charging. This is just a mover. Okay. I just want to make sure, folks. We'll get to the movers here in a sec. Lion Atlas, though, I was mentioning a couple here. Here's a great tanker, DHT. Now, this is not one that I'm familiar with, Lion. So this good stuff here. You're mentioning this is a tanker for possibly fitting our theme of trying to transport natural gas here. Crude oil tanker company. Okay, what do you think?
I mean, I don't know anything about the company, but because the tanker that I've had my eye on for transporting natural gas is SFL, because they pay a really good dividend. This is one I've been having an eye on for a while. This one could do really well as with the whole natural gas transportation theme. Not to discount DHI at all. I just don't know any. I'm sorry, not DHI, DHT.
DHT. Actually, I'm not. We're gonna have to check in here, Lion. It actually looks like this just transports crude, so I'm not sure this actually fits natural gas here. But that's okay. That will be just something to do next here on the line of due diligence. ET was the other one that he mentioned here, ticker ET, Energy Transfer.
Yeah, now ET, that's more of a pipeline. That's a midstream. And I don't know that they necessarily have any tankers. I don't think they do. I think they're more just, land-based, transporting, oil, natural gas, different things across the country. They during the pandemic, this thing was super cheap. And one of the things that it was really getting hammered over is whether or not this Keystone Pipeline XL was actually going to get completed or not. Well, I think it did, but not without some hurdles. So now it's just I'll have to double check, because I remember they stopped it and they started that pipeline. I can't remember if they ever finished it or not. I thought they did, but anyway. This one is not necessarily the part of the tanker theme, but it's still very one that we should keep on our radar, maybe even in your portfolios, because this is another really big dividend paying stock, and they've been around for a while. I don't think they're going to be going anywhere for a long time.
Okay. Real quick, Steve here in the chat mentioning ticker LPG, Lima Papa Golf. That's going to be Dorian here. This definitely a tanker for petroleum and other gas products here. This chart actually looks pretty good, Steve. I think there's a really good mention. This absolutely looks like a support area that was previously a resistance area. Looks like we're kind of trading sideways here, and we have some pretty clear targets above. So I kind of like this one, LPG.
Yeah, really interesting double top that we had there from the beginning of the year and in the middle of the year that resulted in where we're at now.
Yep.
But sorry about that.
All good.
So, I mean, we could probably consider this double top mostly resolved. It just, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look into more about why this is getting hammered like it is. I'm sure the export controls had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But, I want to see a little bit more recovery here, and we still are in a death cross until we nullify that, and that's going to be a while. But let's see if this consolidation that it's got going on down here that it's had since the beginning of this month, see if that holds up. This might actually be a really good spot to get it if it's starting to turn around now. We might be seeing the lows here. So that's just something that jumps out to me. And then I don't want to, make a guarantee like, yes, this is the low where we need to buy now. But it just looks that way based on the consolidation, the sideways action. We're recapturing the 20-day SMA. It looks like it's turning around.
Okay. Yep. Really good stuff here on LPG. Steve, appreciate that. This definitely, we're probably going to end up having this discussion here on Happy Hour today, I would imagine. So might have some more tickers here for you. We'll see how this plays out. And again, we'll see how the market actually trades here when the market opens up. So a lot to be figured out here. Really good start to that, though. I knew that this group would not let us down.
Yeah, it's great suggestions, and this market's been getting hammered this morning. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I'm like, let's just see what happens, because when the market comes down, it's going to take everything with it, including some of these names that we're looking at that are set up for bullish runs.
So, okay, real good stuff. They're chomping at the bit, 13. What do you think we do the movers here? Get those knocked out, and we can fill in anything else that we have with some other charts that you folks want to take a look at, natural gas or otherwise. Let me flip over to the movers workspace here in Benzinga Pro. Also, I'm going to mention here again, don't go into 2025 blind. Benzinga Pro can help you here. And also remember, if you're not able to sit in front of the computer all the time, right above, check out Benzinga Edge. That price is going to go up here in just 2 days. January 1st, that price goes up, and I can't help you after they raise the price. So be sure to take advantage of that. Okay, let's start here with the movers. We're going to start with NXU. This is the one that the chat was throwing out here. It's at the top of the movers list. Stock is up 320% here. Oh my goodness. On Friday, this stock was 24 cents. Here we are popping above $1 here. Trying to anyway. Looks like $1.08 was your intraday high so far. I don't have anything on this. Looks like we had some forms from Friday. What's going on here, NXU?
I think that's what it's moving on is the Form 8 from Friday. There may have been some information in there that was very, very favorable to stockholders. Let me see what this was doing that day. See if we're getting maybe some relative volume. No, actually, doesn't look like we're getting any relative volume off of that. So I'd have to look and see what the 8K actually says in order to give you an accurate report on why it's moving. But this thing is very extended right now on the daily chart. I think it may have been extended. No, it's just from today. So yeah, I don't have any good indication as to why it's moving. As far as news goes, it's likely in the Form 8. The float is about 15.5 million shares, so not too hard to move around. It's pretty close to where we want to be for the float size. Short interest, negligible. I don't know that they have any reverse splits that they've done. Looks like they did one a year ago, a 1 for 150. So nothing this year. As far as financials, still loses about 5 million. They don't have very much revenue. about 2.2 million in cash. So likely an offering is either coming
Yeah,
or
some type of financing is due here. I feel like.
right. Exactly. So that would be the big takeaway I think from this. It looks like they're also trying to merge with another company, Verde Bioresins. So with the lack of news that I have here and the lack of information or indication about when they're going to do any kind of financing, maybe that's in the 8K as well. I would just say let's try to find some levels and let's be in and out of this, and then let them do their capital raise whenever that may be. Let me see what I have here in terms of levels. Bear with me.
Yeah, I would say real quickly, obviously that dollar level is one that we're going to be watching. I've got 72 cents here as the VWAP. Unsure what you have here. I've got nothing really recently, like just kind of looking at some of it looks like we had a pop here on October 24th. That high there was 94 cents. Maybe that provides some support, but otherwise the consolidation area that this thing was in was 50 cents to 65 cents. That sure seems to be the next area of really decent support here for NXU.
Yeah, I'd have to really take a close look at some levels for NXU, but just with what I can see on the 5-minute here, we're well above VWAP for the moment. And we're running into the open. So I would think that maybe at the open, this one comes back in and tries to find some support before it starts going again. Usually we'll see these run ups into the open and they'll pull. Let's let that happen. Let's let the pull happen, and then we can start trading this. But I think if we continue to trade up into the open, I think we're going to see weakness out of the gate.
Okay. Good stuff there. I would say as far as trading this one here goes, first of all, I'll probably avoid this. There's going to be better opportunities for me than NXU here, but I'm with you. A pullback. Let the chart set up here. It sure looks like this is kind of gone at the moment. So I'd look elsewhere. All right. Next here is going to be Watt, W-A-T-T. Now, I've traded this one. Oh, this was what. Man, when I first started back in 2014, 2015, the stock was $10+. I used to trade this back and forth all of the time. Never really materialized into anything. You can see this was a penny stock on Friday that had busted into dollar territory here today. They filed for 80 million mixed shelf offering. That's your news here, ticker WATT.
Really?
That was on the 13th of December.
Yeah.
It was a while ago. Nothing fresh here on this one. We're popping here today. What 175 looks to be the high. What do you think?
Well, didn't we have another company that was in the EV charging space that was running?
Yeah, it was just last week too. Here,
wasn't it? No, the one we just talked about wasn't there another
NXU that was in EV, but wasn't there another one recently that we were taking a look at?
Well, my point is, I thought that Watt was sort of involved with EVs and charging, and maybe
no, it is. It is. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right here. But so you're saying that maybe these two are running in tandem?
Right. It's a bit of a relationship trade, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Watt was wireless charging. That was one of their things.
Yes.
And back when this first came about, it was all for phones and stuff.
Right. And I think at one point, and I don't even know if it was on Happy Hour or not, but there was this idea that this company or like this company could do wireless charging parking spaces for EVs.
Yeah. I do remember that.
So I think that's one of the reasons why you might be seeing this move with the idea of charging. I mean, it hasn't run before, but with these other names that do charging, like ChargePoint and I forget the name of the other one, but this is wireless charging, like kind of like how I'm charging my phone right now on this little charging platform. You just park over it and it just starts charging your vehicle. That would be phenomenal. But I don't know if that's the case. I just think it's kind of running along with the EV charging news.
Chris, appreciate you. Yes, I actually had to resize my windows when I came in today. All of my windows were a little bit different, and you're right. Oh my God, it is cutting this off. Sorry about this, Chris. No, it's my fault. 13. I got to figure this out here. There we go. There we go. There we go, Chris. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. You should be able to see that now. We can work with this. Okay. Next, I'm just going to go to Hollow next because it looks like the chat's absolutely popping off. And also 13, you know what this means. Hollow, YOLO,
Jesus.
Jolo. It's back again. At this point, I really feel like we're going to call this is 13's ex-girlfriend. This is not even a communal thing. This is just you. Ashan, my man, dude. Is Hollow a good entry point? Bro, no, it isn't. Look at this. This thing is literally spiking in the pre-market right now. You don't want to chase this. We've spent a long time trying to protect people from this. Come on. No. You don't chase this here. Let's come up with some spots. 13, help my man out here. Let's come up with some spots for Hollow. Really quickly, let me get back to the note list that I had here.
Well,
you go ahead.
I mean, as far as entry goes, gosh, I think that ship may have already sailed for the moment.
Yeah.
I can give you some upside targets, so we see if we get there. But as far as an entry goes, you'd have to wait for this to come back in and find a base. Let this cool off for a bit, and it's looking like it's starting to do that now. This might either bull flag, or it might curl. There's a number of different things that are gonna this could do. And I don't know how much time you have to be sitting in front of your computer, but I don't want you sitting in front of your computer waiting all day for this to do what you might think it's going to do. So let's let this come back in. Maybe it gets some support around 350 if it loses 4. I could see that in the in the pre-market we spiked up to 350, came back in, kind of went mostly sideways until just recently when we had this pop, and that took us over 350. So if we do lose $4, I'd be looking at 350 as a potential support area. Not guaranteed to be the best entry, but it looks like that's the earliest support area I have if this price action comes down.
The PR, sorry, I have to get this in here because the title of the PR here is absolutely hilarious. Microcloud hologram develops semiconductor quantum dot hole spin qubit technology, advancing the frontiers of quantum computing. I got to be honest with you. I feel like this is just taking advantage of the news cycle that we're currently in and throwing a bunch of quantum related jargon into the press release and driving the stock higher. Am I crazy for thinking that?
Maybe I just haven't heard about it yet, but quantum dot hole spin is new to me. I haven't heard of quantum dot hole spin yet.
So, okay. So that's kind of what I'm getting. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, and I mean, look, producer here, Ryan doesn't know about semiconductor quantum dot hole spin qubit technology. How embarrassing! I mean, look, sometimes you just got to take your L's, right? When life gives you L's, you just have to take them. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what this means. So as far as like the next step here. If someone could please explain to me in English what I don't even know.
What is hole spinning anyway?
Don't answer that. We have a family show here. But anyway, quantum dot hole spin Q. I mean, I don't know what this is. Now, we're kind of joking around here. We're kind of having some fun here with this press release. Here's the reality. Line Atlas actually hit this one. If you are not in Hollow already, stay away for now. So we would want this to set up like very much like we were just talking about this not being a good entry point. I mean, I don't want to chase these types of candles. Let this thing come in. If this is what you're looking to trade, let it come in. Let it hold a spot. I wouldn't be chasing this move here. And we've seen Hollow. Didn't we see this thing go to 80 before?
No, 100.
100. Okay.
The split.
And those were before the split. So this is not just a guaranteed, well, I'll just short it because it's junk and I'll make money on it.
If you can borrow it.
Blown out. Yeah.
So here's some upside targets we can mark off here and to see if we we'll get there or not. But this points of resistance. 575 appears to be one for me. 725 and 855 and 1015. Those are the next 4 upside levels of resistance that I see based on previous price action. So,
Okay.
Well, we can just go with that for now. When the market opens, I'm sure we're going to have this on our screens and try and trade this. But and it's still going. So I mean, there's a significant risk by just jumping in now and trying to hold on and hope that you get some gains. I mean, we're in pre-market, so you might not even get your fills. I just think it comes with some pretty incredible risk here if you're trying to jump into this, even though we are getting some more upside movement. So let's be smart about this. Let's let some this price action come in, find a base. We'll trade this, but it doesn't make sense to try and scalp it in the pre-market, at least from my perspective.
Okay. Real quickly here, Robert, love this comment here. I just asked AI. Apparently it's a thing. I did the same thing. Quantum dot whole spin qubit technology is an advanced approach to quantum computing and quantum information processing that utilizes the quantum properties of holes in semiconductor quantum dots. Below is a detailed breakdown of the technology. I haven't been given a chance to read this yet, but this is a pretty decent starting off point. So Chat GPT winning again here as far as helping us out. So it just looks like this is basically has to do with processing and processing speed of quantum computing. So that should be enough, at least now, for us to trade this. That does not change my thesis here. Wait for this thing to come back in. Right. Don't chase these green candles here.
All right. But as far as Watt goes, just to cap that off, that I think we did cap that one off, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did. We did.
We can move on to the next one then.
INTZ is going to be the next one, and this is also one that we had from Friday, if you recall.
I think I do. Let me see what I wrote any of the stuff on that down. Yeah, relative volume was what this was moving on.
Yeah, it was a cybersecurity company. We had no news, so relative volume, that makes a lot of sense there. It looks like it's moving again here, INTZ. Dow Newswire reported Streeterville Capital has acquired a 9.8% stake in the company. So there you go. It looks like we got that Friday.
Okay, so
13G, Friday afternoon.
I'm looking at the daily chart on this one, and holy cow, is this thing really gone? But where are we at right now? We're at 473. Okay, so the big question for me is whether or not this can get through 5. If you look at a daily chart and you go back to December of 2023, there is this big old long consolidation area around 5 that kind of makes me wonder if it's going to be able to push through that or not. It might. Plenty of eyes are certainly on it, but that's going to be a big resistance level right off the top, right off the bat here is $5. Let's see if there's anything else I can find with INTZ. But do you see what I'm talking about there?
Yeah,
on the
absolutely.
Daily chart?
Yep. So my daily chart's a little bit brutal, but this is basically what you're talking about right in here.
Right in there.
It's this like area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that would be the area I would need to see get broken through, because that seems to be that seems to be where the market was like hoping this could come, or trying to get this thing back up, and it failed, and so everybody just kind of capitulated. That's what the price action was. It looks like here is just too many sellers at 5. They hammered the stock down. Everybody jumped out. You had spikes trying to recover, probably on low RSI bounces. That didn't materialize, and now we're down to where we are now.
Okay.
Hi, Lynn.
Hey, Lynn and Randy holding it down. Great to see you folks here. Are you ready for the new year? I know Randy's ready. He's probably got that Woodford breathing already for New Year's Eve. All right, next here is going to be Octo. This is OCTO. This is 8Co Holdings. Stock was $1.50 on Friday. Looks like it tried to make a run at 4 here earlier today. Couldn't quite get there. Now we've pulled back. We've actually lost the VWAP here on Octo. Let's see. Last news that I had was from Friday, December 20th. Looks like they non-dilutive capital raise and a debt extension here. This stock's up 70% here today. I believe that this stock, this fits right into our wheelhouse. 2.2 million shares in the float here. You got anything on Octo 13? You like this one for a possible play here today?
Well, let's take a look at the chart. Containers and packaging, huh? So I have some thoughts on where that might end up going as far as that industry goes. I mean, if we're starting to see some supply chains diverge away from China and go to other countries, there's probably going to be a need for more containers to be built for those countries, because I don't think we're just going to start taking the ones that we have in China and moving them over there. That doesn't seem likely to me. Octo, as far as levels go, let's see here. Well, we hit a 394 in the after hours on Friday. We're beneath VWAP now. I would think that if we are going to bounce anywhere, it might be from 240. The 65 EMA is right in that area, and on that, based on that price action we had on Friday, that seems to have been an area of both support and resistance. That 240. So that would be the spot I'd be looking at, possibly for entry. If it goes down there and holds up, maybe goes sideways into the open. We're almost there, so let's see what it does. Octo could be a good one, but I would want to see what it does out of the open. If it rebounds off the 65, then at the very least, I think it's coming back up to VWAP.
Okay. Sorry, finishing off another message here. All right. Really good stuff there on Octo. Yep.
And as far as there's one thing I wanted to add with INBZ.
INTZ?
INTZ. Sorry. If we do break through that $5 area where there's that consolidation, then there's a good chance this may run up to 780.
Okay. And actually, right now, it looks like this is setting up for a possible move through 460 on INTZ. So watch that. Okay. Good stuff there. Sorry about getting distracted. What's up?
Oh, that's why Lynn and Randy showed up.
You thought they were going to miss an opportunity to YOLO Jolo? No chance. No chance they were going to miss that. No chance. Okay. Let's keep rolling here through the list. NLSP is the next one that I have on the list. This looks awful. NLS pharmaceutical shares are trading higher after the company announced it filed a F4 registration statement with the SEC ahead of a proposed merger. Okay, this thing popped to 5, has bled back almost 50% of those gains here. The pre-market chart looks terrible. Maybe this news catalyst will set up for a potential merger in the future, but man, oh man, chart here today does not look good. 13, what do you think here? NLSP, it does fit into our theme, right? 1.9 million shares in the float. We had some news. We've had some action, have a pretty good range. The pre-revenue biopharmaceutical company engaged in the discovery and development of life-improving drug therapies to treat rare and complex CNS disorders. What do you think here, NLSP?
Well, let's take a look at their financials. I think that's going to, oh man, I don't have any read on their income. So they report, it looks like they only report twice a year, it seems.
Yeah, so I'm only getting reports on an annualized basis here. They do lose money on an annual basis, and they don't have a lot of cash there, so they're going to need to figure that out here pretty soon. Maybe that's what the merger was about.
Yeah, I think that I don't know how they're going to get the money to do what they're trying to do here, but that's going to have to be what they're going to need to accomplish is raise funds somehow. So maybe that's one of the reasons why we're seeing it down. It might be something else. I mean, I'd have to look at that F4 statement, just to see what they say about the merger. If there's any figures in there, but so far this thing has just not been good this morning. Now let's see if I can point out some levels here for this one. Maybe the 65 EMA could be the earliest support. I don't know if that's going to hold up. That I currently have at 265.
Yeah.
Otherwise, maybe 225 with a 200 EMA is, because after that we're right back to start. So if we are going to bounce anywhere, those would be the two levels that I have, without looking to the left. And if we do rebound there, likely could push back up towards VWAP, which is currently at 390.
Okay, cool. We'll see if we get that here on NLSP. Looks like we're getting a lot of shifting around here in the movers tool. Let's do this one, PLRZ. I know a number of you folks. Oh, by the way, Carmen saw this comment earlier. Wow, what a blast from the past. I used to think they were developing some awesome cordless charging.
Right.
Such a disappointment. So did I.
Yeah.
Carmen, we were probably trading the same thing at the same time because the trading group that I was in back in the day, as I like to say, oh man, we were all over that. Wireless charging was a huge thing.
Carmen, Carmen, wasn't that company like supposed to create some kind of wireless charging where you would walk into a building that had their product or whatever, and your phone would just start charging because it was able to radio frequency the the charging to the phone or something to that effect.
Yeah, the whole thing here was that you could just leave it in your pocket and the phone would charge. There's no way that's got healthy for you. No way. No way. Just no way. I know I'm kind of speaking outside here, but man, there's just no way. Anyway, it was a letdown. Anyway, PLRZ. Let's get back on task. I'm sorry.
Sure. That's
my fault. Polyrizon. Did I pronounce that right? Polyrizon. Polyrizon shares are trading higher after the company announced it reported the publication of a national phase patent application by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Application. The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. So this basically, we can summarize all of that. This patent news here, the stock moved from $1.60 to $3.20. It's come all the way back in. We actually just recaptured the VWAP. The volume on this recent pop that we're looking at here, not great, but let's see if that holds there. Still pretty good action, taking us back above the VWAP here. Let's take a look at how this stock is structured here. 3.9 million shares. This is exactly the area that we want this in terms of its float. 13, I'm assuming you're going to take a look at the exact same thing, or we'll take a look at the financials. Looks like they do burn some cash. They don't have a whole lot. You're probably in the same boat here about needing a raise. Didn't see much on the insiders, and let's check out the short interest here. Negligible short interest.
Yeah. So for this, I just go to the technicals and just see what we can get from there, because we're not getting a whole lot in terms of financial information or company information. So I'm just going to have to rely on the way it trades. And right now, it looks like it could be putting in some kind of pre-market head and shoulders. The left shoulder being from earlier this morning at around 6:30, the head around 7:20, and then we just are starting to put in the final right shoulder. Now, if we so I just drew a trend line. Now, if this gets nullified, or if this isn't, if I'm seeing this wrong, we're going to break through this and we could take out 320. But if I'm right, then we're going to lose VWAP, and this may end up going down. So I'm not 100% sure about PLRZ. This seems to be a lack of information here to make me feel comfortable about calling for which direction this is heading right now. But I think the chart looks weak at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of like that right there. I think the chart looks a little weak at the moment. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to say that this is going to be a zero today, because it could just end up pushing through that trend line and take off. But
okay,
I don't see what it's going to move on. I don't think that patent application is anything important. They submitted an application. It's not an approval.
No, so, and the reason I highlighted that is because we've actually seen some early outsized moves on patent news, only to see that dry up. We'll see if that's what happens here. Good stuff there. PLRZ. Next one here is CTM. CTM, with the last news that I had here, I think was from December 27th. Yeah, this is from Friday. So they priced an offering in the morning at 85 cents a share. Stock is $2 here today. So this offering was 3.7 million. Stock's much higher. I'm not sure what to make of this one. Not one that I follow here. CTM engaged in providing information technology services. The company provides financial services. The company provides financial services, healthcare, and other users of large data applications with services that include intelligence analysis, software development, software engineering, program management, strategic and mission planning, and information assurance. Easy for me to say. So CTM here, offering on Friday, popping higher here today. 3 was the high, although we've broken down. What do you think on this one, 13?
I think this company might be in some of the earlier stages of trying to be something bigger. This company's looks to be one of those that is just trying to gobble up as many companies, just acquiring them as possible, and then they might have a better product to offer clients in the future. This company is, in the description, they're talking about how they acquire companies, cybersecurity, information technology, electronic warfare. So this seems like this is a company that they have revenue, but I don't know that they are done with their acquisitions yet. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're doing a stock offering, because it didn't seem like they really needed the money that bad.
Mm-hmm.
They do have like over $11 million in revenue each quarter. So, I mean, yeah, they're still losing about, 1 to 2 million, but it seems like they're on a path to profitability. And I'd only think the reason that they would need to raise any capital at all is because they're acquiring another company. So maybe keep an eye on this one for acquisition news.
Okay.
That would be my thought with this one.
Okay. Really good stuff here. I know we're about to open here, so I'm going to call an audible real quick. We got asked earlier about Ondas. You can see Ondas did pop in the morning here, came into like this double top around 335, bled back all of those gains, much like it did on Friday. Not great here. Ondas does have some news here, though, real quick.
5 seconds.
Purchased 18.9 million in convertible notes. The company enters 2025 with significant momentum, supported by a robust cash position. Here's the PR. Remember, this is in the drone theme. I know we opened. I'll get right to it here real quick. But Carmen, you had mentioned earlier. I think that drones are the theme here for 2025. Drones are where it's at for 2025. So in that PR I just linked you, I just want to read this real quick here. Indeed, we see upside in our initial targets for 2025, and we look forward to sharing a business update in the first quarter. That's Ondas, ticker ONDS. This is the one that I've been holding for a long time. Glad to see it. So there you go, folks. All right, let me flip over to the main one. Let's do it. 13, what are you seeing?
Well, was waiting for Hollow to see if it was going to do anything. It went right down to VWAP out of the open. So this is what we were talking about, just being patient and wait. Now we might actually have something here where it's found a bottom, or it might have found a bottom. It needs to hold VWAP this candle, and if it does, this might be the spot here to do the trade. So we'll see if that's what we're getting here. Getting some really good support from that VWAP. Just need to see it move away from it now. Let's look here. So INTZ, that one's pushing up. That's new intraday high. Not
INTZ. This was strong right out of the gate here too. Mm-hmm. Watch that 5 level. This is one of the levels that we covered earlier here. INTZ looks like it's going right to that. I do see a little size here at 495 ahead of that $5 area in INTZ.
Looks like Octo, that one pushed up to VWAP and got rejected there. So this one coming back in now. NLSP, that one's now down at the 65 EMA. We'll see if that ends up pushing away from there. NXU, this one also getting support from VWAP. We'll see if it holds there or not.
Real quick, sorry about that. I was flipping away. INTZ did actually break through 5, went right through that area, actually printed above 5 and came back in. Scalped it through 5 there, but it was too quick to even call it out. It was a good heads up on your part, 13. That put it right on my radar.
Excellent. Hollow, losing that VWAP, going lower. This might just go right back to the start. And then that's it. INTZ 520 was the high.
All right, producer here real quick. I love the work that producers doing. Will SPY finish the day green or red? Red, 58% of the vote this morning. So you folks looking like you're going in the pre-market. 41% says the market's going to close green. There you go. Good morning, Amanda. Nice to see you here this morning. No swim meet this morning? INTZ holding above 5. That actually might go higher here. VINC, this is one of the penny stocks from this morning. This popping up off the lows. By the way, Nat Gas here since the open higher. $4.06 is your high on /NG there. So that also trading up here. Here's CTM, another one that we were watching right at its VWAP. 235, that VWAP there on CTM.
It looks like SPY still headed... well, it hasn't broken the pre-market low quite yet, but pretty close to it. We still have the 586.12 and 585.27 previous all-time highs as support. So we'll be watching for that. Looks like Hollow's trying to recover. Not sure what's going to happen with this one. I mean, that was a really nasty pull out of the gate.
LPG, really quick here. LPG, this was one of those nat gas plays from Steve earlier. Looks like that is up a little bit here. Very, very light volume, but so far that's moving in the direction that we had hoped based off that natural gas news. Market's still pulling here, 13, as we continue to set new lows here on the SPY. So bears are in control, at least so far. SPY printing new lows, 586 handle. Thinking about it, yeah, Tim Melvin must be happy with his nat gas plays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he must. And you know what? I make a commitment to you to continue to bring Melvin on this show all of 2025. So not only can we remember he's got a little bit longer term approach, we can position ourselves for some of those stocks early on. Really good stuff there.
Hollow recapturing its VWAP for the moment. This is still the same 5-minute candle. So lots of wild price action in just this short span of time here. It might be going green. Looks like 450 has a little bit of a wall there, but based on this price action, it could chew right through that if it gets up there. So we'll see. And if we do start coming back up and break the pre-market high, 575 is the first area of resistance I see.
Yep.
All right. Looking around here, PLRZ, that one still looking like this is going lower. Maybe the 65 EMA catches it. We'll see.
Octo, I agree. By the way, on PLRZ, that does look like the next move here is lower. Actually, looks like Octo might be setting up for the same type of thing here. That's right at 250. Watch out if this breaks. There it goes. Snap. Lower we go. 240 prints now. And Octo. Glenn, good morning, Glenn. Happy Monday. It's great to see you here. You're mentioning BBAI here today. Big Bear AI. Nice little move right out of the gate here on BBAI. I do think 460 is going to be that area of resistance if we get there. BBAI.
I have 480 marked off, so maybe there as well.
Yeah, now 480, we did not quite get to 480 on Thursday. BBAI printed its highs here around 473. So I absolutely see why you have that marked off here. We did not quite get to that 480, but I'm willing to bet that's one of the spots that launches us 13 if we get it.
It was from a previous price action.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. We didn't get up there that last day. We didn't quite get up there. I'm not sure we get there here again. INTZ still holding above 5 here.
Oh, PLRZ. So yeah, that one was looking weak, and there is the weakness. So now it's trying to get support from the 65 EMA. If we close this candle beneath it, then I'd be looking at the 200 EMA as a support level. But like I was saying this morning, this one doesn't look like there's going to be a whole lot here. It was a patent application. I think there's better things to trade.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And that patent news can sometimes be kind of a letdown. Looks like that's what we're getting here. Bitcoin is moving lower here. Bitcoin's had a huge move recently. Honestly, a move lower would be great. If that moves to 70K, I'd be tempted to throw a few more shillings in the account. That's fiat, converting fiat to Bitcoin there.
Yep. Rail Vision from last week.
VSN, okay.
Yeah, that one's getting some movement out of the gate here. Tried to push up through 165. It did, but getting some resistance at 175. So see what happens with this one. If it can hold above 165, then this has a much better chance of going higher. That would be 280 would be my upside target if it can hold that.
I'm seeing Apple calls get bought. Interesting. Maybe this is too early to draw anything from, but I saw a number of Apple calls and NVIDIA calls get bought into this move lower. Apple here, it looks like it is coming up off those lows. That's something to watch. Reddit puts. That's a good one.
I would be focusing on Broadcom, to be honest.
Now, when you say you're focusing on that for more upside?
Yeah. I think, well, it's certainly going to need to cool off, but I think Broadcom is going to be the big semiconductor winner for 2025.
Okay, so let me tell you something else here about Broadcom, really quickly. If Broadcom comes into 220, I'm taking a stab on a long-term swing trade there. I'll just tell you that right now. I'm actually pissed that I didn't do this the last time. FFIE is halted. You folks, awesome job staying on top of that. I know I was looking at FFIE halted to the upside here. Bang, big move higher. Not in this, though.
Yeah, so I don't know if you managed to catch the news about Taiwan Semiconductor and their silicon photonics manufacturing that they're doing, but apparently, and we did touch on this in Happy Hour about photonic chip integration, where it's basically using light instead of electrons to transfer information between chips. So this would be using like fiber optic cables for the circuit buses, and that's going to cut down on not only the heat but the transfer time as well. So it's much faster. And Taiwan Semiconductor already has two very big clients that are in line for this. And there's, of course, one of them is going to be NVIDIA, and the other is Broadcom.
Okay.
This is something we're going to be seeing a lot about this year, because they're sending a lot of test models out in the first half, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot of manufacturing ramp up for that in the second half of this year. So we'll see what happens with that. Keep an eye on TSM, Broadcom, and NVIDIA.
Good stuff there. By the way, Watt halted to the upside. FFIE halted to the upside here. And Hollow, this did pull back towards that $4 level. So far, it's holding it. I've got VWAP here, 415. That's right where Hollow is.
Yep. Mine is 410, so it's just trying to hold above it. Yours, I think, is trying to get above it.
INTZ popped to the pre-market high there. So look at that move above 5. It consolidated a little bit. Next leg up here. Anyone that was in this one? Awesome. Yep. Register ring here. INTZ, 6 prints coming here.
Yep. So I think that we might end up seeing that 780 that I was talking about. That's the 65 EMA on the weekly.
I'm going to leave this one on screen. I'm going to step away for just 1 sec. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. What is every? Oh, we got A-Lab that we're also looking at. Cool. And Print Biscuit's taking a look at Core. See what is going on with those. CORE. What is this one about? Okay, so this one is trying to recover from the downside move it had after going to 490 in the pre-market. Currently trying to, well, hi there. Currently trying to get back above VWAP that I have at 378. Looks like it may have slowed down a little bit here. That would be the level to get back above, is the VWAP there at 378. So we'll see if that can happen. And then you are also mentioning A-Lab. Let's take a look at A-Lab. A-Lab does not look great. What was the thought here with A-Lab? This thing has just been going down all pre-market, and now it's down at the open. I suppose the thought is that maybe it turns around. We'll see if that happens. It's currently trying to recapture VWAP that I have at 135.73. So we'll see. INTZ suspended, halted to the upside. That's great.
Sorry about that. I came back and I saw that my screen had crashed here, and so you had no screen share out there.
No problem. No problem. I kept it going. INTZ was halted, by the way. It's halted at 634. So we are just about $1.50 away from that target. Hollow really having a turnaround moment here, trying to push higher. We had a pre-market high of 528. Let's see if we get 528 and more. I'm looking for 575 in Hollow. Just need to hold this VWAP. Octo still going down. NLSP still going down. I don't know. Dorian, that LPG, that's still having a pretty good morning. Trying to trade up and go past 2430.
Natural gas continuing to print highs here. What happened? Natural gas continuing. Sorry, I'm trying to reload Pro here. Natural gas continuing to print highs here, just above $4, $4.08. So it actually recently just took another leg higher. That's going to be why LPG is moving with it. I'm sure of it. So that was a really good call earlier. Okay.
PDYM is halted, says Smita. I was looking at that too. Paladine.
Yeah, that was moving here this morning. Here, let me bring this up. PDYN. Let's see where we're at here on Paladine. This is halted to the downside. So this actually had an interesting pop here this morning. Now halted to the downside on a pretty big pull there.
Speaking of pretty big pulls, BBAI got as high as 448 and went right back to start.
BBAI, I don't see that. Sorry, I'm looking at my scanner here. Let me bring up BBAI.
Conditionally accepted ALAB versus AVGO. You want us to try and compare them, or what's the thought here with those? Octo. I was kind of seeing a lot of red on the screen right now. Just kind of waiting for things to.
Indeed, Dow down 600 points here. They do have somebody on CNBC talking about natural gas right now. Natural gas up 20.5% here on this news this morning.
I wonder if this is just spooking the market or spooking investors out of the market because, oh no, rising energy prices means everything's going up and inflation's coming back. So that would be my initial thought.
Yeah.
Hollow's still looking pretty good here. This is at a pretty important level right now. If it can get through 450, this might have a little bit more legs.
450 seems to be the line in the sand for me on Hollow here.
Yep. And it's funny because it's like one of the only ones that's been providing any kind of decent trading. I mean, there were some other ones, of course, and you folks have been hitting those, but just so many different things that looked like they were going to do well, just not materializing quite yet. Hollow's at risk of losing VWAP.
GTI, Graphite, Jet Tech. This actually trying to go for some new intraday highs here. GTI. Still watching INTZ. I'm interested to see what that does here out of the halt. No position on INTZ. Already scalped that earlier here today, but that was long ahead of the halt.
Well, Karma has surfaced on the upside. KRMA.
KRMA. That actually that ticker sounds familiar. Nope. Global Conscious Company. Nope.
I mean, man, you might be right about that. I mean, these semi stocks, especially the AI, the quantum and AI names, they're getting hit the hardest. They've had some pretty big runs, so I imagine, that maybe just taking some profit, getting out of those before the year is over.
I mean, these were huge. We actually saw that before, right? We saw that right here, December 18th, when these things started to pull back. They actually went for some new highs, but we've actually seen that action already here this year. We talked about some of those quantum names maybe signaling a top in the market.
Yeah. Let's take a look at my space watch list. See, that's all red today.
FFIE looks like this is trying to get back to those 320 highs here on FFIE, currently flirting with $3 right now.
That's fine.
INTZ is open here. Looked like it opened higher and then moved lower here. It's regaining $6 as we speak.
Yeah, 650 was the level it popped up to.
And I see stock up there at 650.
NXU might be trying to recapture its VWAP. If it does, might be able to go back to $1 again. So keep an eye on that one if this is something you're trading.
INTZ is trying to go back for those highs. What do you guys think? You think this takes the highs out here on INTZ 650? There it goes. There it goes. How about that? INTZ. The volume here. So one of the things that I'm seeing here on INTZ, volume is looking real good here. Until this volume really starts to kind of tail off here, I think you might have more opportunity at some of these upside pops. Just be sure not to chase the gains here. What's up?
Tony, that was a good one. We must be pivoting to the spinning donut quantum.
Oh, here we go. So the spin dot hole. Here we go. Tony, I love how you're tying everything together there. That's well done. INTZ, more new highs here.
Yeah.
Volume still climbing.
It's gonna hit it.
What was the target that you had?
780.
And where did that come from again? That's
as the 65 EMA on the weekly.
781. Here you go. Look at that 13. Well done, dude. And now I know we're pulling back here. This is volatile here. It's all over the place. The volume to me is telling the story. So I can't tell you what the next move is going to be. But as long as we are continuing to see volume like this stock is going to have some momentum, especially to the upside there. So scalp this twice here now. I'm not in it. This has been a decent one here. This has been the play of the day so far. INTZ.
SPY looks like it's trying to get some support between those two previous all-time highs I mentioned. See if it starts to move away from there, because, man, what a fall it had this morning.
You know, we talked a lot about the market just kind of being ready for any type of macro event that's going to send us lower. And it does look like the Ukraine-Russia stuff that we got here this morning is, in fact, that catalyst. Now, I wonder, are winners this year being sold, right? Apple is. Because if they are, I would imagine that this is just people kind of taking stuff that was profitable off the table here this year, right? NVIDIA, this is actually holding on red green. Costco, this is another one here. Costco down almost 2%. This has had a really good year. Natural gas, by the way, more new highs here. 412 on natural gas. That continuing to go higher.
Costco that's continuing to get hit though, right? I mean, comparatively, let me just take a look here, because I thought that was
Costco board pushes back against anti-DEI shareholder proposal.
That's what I'm talking about. That might not be good for this company.
Nope.
So 874. That's my downside level. We lost the 50 today. And the 200's beneath that 874 level. So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up losing 900 and getting some support down there in the 875 area.
That would be awesome, because you know what I would be doing? I'd be looking to add. I tell you what, right now, I'll just throw this out here. What's today? December 30th, 2024. This stock goes down to 850. I'm adding.
Okay.
I'm adding. We go to that 200. We test that 200 on Costco. I am adding. Jane saying, I wonder if tomorrow will be worse than today. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're wondering about that now, you definitely be sure to take your gains if you get them here today, right? If you get any of them, be sure to take them. Don't hang on to them to tomorrow.
Okay, so we're getting asked about GTI. This thing has probably been one of the better movers this morning. Could get up to 210 on the daily chart. The 65 EMA is right there. We're beelining right for it. So if this momentum continues, 210 seems to be a level we could easily see here. One thing I would point out, though, is at $2 even, there's a large wall of sell orders, about 75,000 shares trying to get sold at that level, just sitting out there that we can see. So selling is going to accelerate as we get closer to $2, it seems. And but 210 would be my next upside level here for GTI.
Sorry, it looks like I lost my charts here. What the heck? Do you still have charting data? Man, oh man.
No, it was it ran into a hiccup there, so I'm refreshing as well. Yeah. Trading view is down.
Yeah, let me report this. Hang on a sec.
BBAI trying to turn around. It seems like they got some pretty good support at 410. Seen some things curl. Looks like NXU still not ready to come back up yet. Next level support is going to be at about 65 cents. Hollow lost VWAP, and looks like this might end up going lower. NLSP is trying to curl. Maybe this one gets going. Yeah, I agree. 2025 is going to be very interesting. Absolutely. But it's going to be absolutely wild for space. Wild. Yeah, terraforms, but I mean, I posted, I don't know if we have any pro members in here, but if you visit the Happy Hour channel, there's a very interesting video I posted about the number of different things happening in 2025 as far as space goes. And there's a lot of countries and smaller companies that are going to be joining this, the space race. So competition is really going to be heating up. And I think 2025 is going to be a big, big year for space, especially with all the Starship launches that we're going to have, the test flights. We're supposed to have about 25 of those this year. First one's expected to be on January 10th. So we'll see if that ends up happening. Going to be very, very exciting for space, in my opinion.
I think 2025, I think there are going to be pockets in 2025 that are going to be absolutely awesome, right? Like, I think that in 2024, we had some of these semiconductors that really, the Mag 7 really kind of ruled the day. I think 2025 might be a little bit more spread out. I think we will see a kind of a pullback correction, which will be good for things. I think it'll be short-lived, but I agree with you, 13. Space seems like a really good catalyst there. I know we talked about drones already. I agree with you.
Yeah, and there could be a whole thing about taking data centers off the planet and moving them into space. We already had one company, Sidhu, getting contract from Lone Star to have a data center. I don't remember if it was on the lunar surface or in lunar orbit, but taking data centers to space is pretty interesting proposition. Something you should take a look at. Let's see here. So BBAI is recovering. That's now back above VWAP. So this thing is all over the place. Let's see here. What else? Looks like INTZ is trying to get some support before it makes its next move. Still above VWAP.
I don't know if we mentioned this earlier. Wainwright went to $7 on BBAI here today as far as price targets go.
Oh.
I'm not. I know it's Wainwright, so do what you will with that information. But I'm not sure we mentioned that when we talked about BBAI earlier.
No, I don't think we did because we didn't really cover BBAI. We're just like, oh yeah, this one it's it's an ex-girlfriend. We've traded this one before.
Yeah.
What is the support for what? Let's see here. Well, if we continue with this downside, which at this stage it looks like we might, think maybe 85 cents could be one of the earlier support levels. And if it doesn't happen there, maybe 77 or 78. After that, this thing is probably going to be done. But that would be my next two levels of support if we are going to turn around here. Core. We might talk about this one earlier. This is KORE.
Okay.
Yeah, this one had a pop up through VWAP, got to 445, came back in and lost VWAP, but it's still making higher lows. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this one and see what it does. I really would like to see this get back above and hold VWAP.
And yeah, it looks like it tried to do that already here today. That volume pop there was kind of dissipated really quickly. By the way, real quickly, reminder on Core here. This again fit into our NYSE regain compliance theme. That news was Monday, December 23rd.
Here we go. Keep an eye on NXU. We're finally getting a green candle in the regular session, and it's moving back up towards VWAP.
Charts are back, by the way. Anyone that was having trouble with the charts in Pro, those are back here. Looks like that was actually just kind of getting a report here from the development team. Looks like there was a memory issue there with the data feed. So, okay. So Pro was okay. It was the data that we were getting went out there, but we had that recovered pretty quickly. Good. Shout out, dev team. Way to go. All right. NXU. So sorry about that. I kind of digressed there. NXU right here at VWAP. What did you have on this one?
Yeah, this is the first green candle in the regular session. And
look at the volume, dude. Look at the volume too.
Right. Yeah. So I was saying that maybe this is trying to turn around here, but I wanted to see a recapture of VWAP. I don't want to get up to VWAP and then have it get rejected. I want to see it break through the VWAP. I want to see it this candle, or maybe even the next one, hold above it and close above the VWAP, because that'd be bullish for the trading here. So we'll see if we get that.
Okay.
INTZ.
Real quickly, Jay Harris, I know that you were asking earlier about Palantir. This is a stock that we normally check in a number of times. We haven't done it today, so I definitely apologize for that. But remember, boss, we cannot tell you where to buy or sell. As far as levels here for Palantir, we're entering a consolidation zone. We're right above the 20-day moving average. I've got that at about 75. And it looks like we have a decent consolidation area here between 71 and 75. So I would expect some support here for Palantir. That upside level, clear resistance here, I've got that at 84.80. You got any other levels on this one, 13, for Jay Harris here?
Palantir?
Yeah.
Let me pull this up and I'll take a look. You mentioned the 20-day SMA, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be, yeah, that's going to be my earliest indicator. I think that if we lose that, then you're going to probably get a little bit more downside. Whether or not it recovers, I don't know, but this thing has been so extended. So if we lose a 20-day SMA, I think that would be a good indication that this is going lower. You have support at about 70, and the 50-day SMA is still a pretty good distance away. Let's see how far away it is exactly. So the 50-day SMA is 22% away. So mean reversion would be pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the levels right now. First one here, this 71 to 75. Let's see what happens when we get to that level. Jay Harris, that'd be what I'm looking at right now.
Oh, good mention on home sales coming.
And I'll check in on that. We have a lot of good stuff. I'm not surprised that our chat is out here popping off. Webcoin, PLTR, holding price well on a down day. Really good observation there. Market is soft here today, just straight up. Like I'm looking across the board at the indices and they are waterfalls, TLC style waterfalls. Palantir doesn't look like that. Doing a fairly decent job holding up here. It's a really good observation. Now the home sale data, did we get that 13? Are we waiting on that?
Pending
home sales month over month for November plus 2.2% versus the 9/10 estimate. So a little bit hot there. We're actually above our estimate for pending home sales. That's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're still going to end the year with existing home sales being lower than the great financial crisis.
Okay, so that's a bad thing then.
Right.
Home sales will be bad if current. Here we go. Hustle and bustle. Yeah. I believe you work in the real estate business. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry, 13. Get in there.
No, that's great. I mean, because I would defer to any of the experts because I'm certainly not a real estate expert, and I'm just speaking about what I see and what I've been observing. And to me, it looks like we're still pretty weak in the real estate industry, sector, especially with existing home sales being as low as they are. And if we're seeing these builders slowing down their building, that's going to mean even lower inventories. But at the same time, we also might start to see some of these older generations start to throw up their hands and be like, okay, well, I guess rates aren't going to go any lower, or maybe I should just sell my nest egg now since real estate is what it is. I don't know, but you tell me, hustle and bustle. If proud broker, I remember, I got you there. Yeah, you tell me if that's what you're seeing as far as the inventories go, and what you are seeing as far as these older generations and them wanting to hold or sell their properties. All right, so watch back up to VWAP now. And pushing through. This might get going here, especially if it can get through 140. There's a lot of consolidation. Hollow almost went down to the 65 EMA. Looks like it's trying to turn around, but seems like the volume just kind of evaporated in that one. Core back above VWAP again. This one looking pretty good. Might try to go to 490 again. We'll have to see if that's what happens here.
Sorry, I'm fighting with some of my workspaces here. I apologize, 13.
No worries. Robert is mentioning nail. That's getting it's spiking. Banks planning to pass rate savings to their customers. Yeah, of course. Anything that they can pass on, they will. It'll be all on us.
There's no such thing as government spending. It's taxpayer spending. Let me try and refresh Pro here again real fast.
Sure. I'm just kind of looking around and seeing what looks good. GTI trying to move away from its VWAP, but it seems it's like it's running into some resistance around 165. Octo curling. This is looking like it wants to go and try to touch the VWAP again. INTZ kind of still consolidating.
Here we go. I seem to be back here. Good old refresh. Right. INTZ flagging here.
Hustle and bustle. Thank you. That's kind of what we were speaking on, is whether or not they're going to sell or not. Because their valuations in their homes are great, and they have really low rates if they still even have a mortgage. Everything you're saying, 100%. So we need to. What do you think we need to see? I mean, because it seems like builders aren't going to be building as much. We're not seeing as much. And to your point, we haven't seen as much of the selling from the existing homes. So what's going to turn this around? It's probably going to be some kind of crisis at this point, isn't it? You tell me. You're the expert here. I'm not. All right.
I was going to say, I want to take a look at some of the other movers that we had talked about. Octo looks like that's curling. I don't feel great about that yet. The volume really hasn't confirmed a trade for us. Keep rolling through this list here. FFIE, that's still kind of holding in here after that impulse move. NLSP hasn't curled yet. You got anything? You got any setups out there? GTI, huh?
Yeah, that one's still pushing up. It's trying to take out 179 pretty soon here. Core also looks like it really wants to get back above VWAP. NXU, here we go.
GTI going for that high as we speak. I've got 179 as that actual high print.
What, halted? That broke through VWAP. That's halted now. And it looks like INTZ could also get going here as well.
$179, that spot on GTI if that falls. We shall see. Was there just a giant SPY volume candle at 10:01? Here, let's bring up SPY here. So here's the volume candle. And if we go to the 1 minute, yeah, there sure was. There sure was a big volume candle there. It looks like a buying volume candle too.
Mm-hmm.
That candle, 1.1 million in that candle.
Looks like INTZ is really trying to get moving here, but there's a lot of sell orders in the way. We need to see the volume expand, and then we could push through some of these walls. Thank you for all that info, Hustle and Bustle, by the way.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I like a move on INTZ here, a move through 650 to the upside. That might give you a trade.
Mm-hmm.
That might give you one.
Yeah, volume needs to be better in this one to get through these all the sell orders that they have lined up in front of the upside progress. 645 is the largest one. Okay, they just took that. Now we're at 650, the one that you just mentioned. Let's see if we get a break.
I might actually, let's see. I've got some profit today, so I might actually try this one here. Let's see.
Trying to take out 650.
Okay, took some there at 650. Let's see if we can build above and go. Set stop at break even.
That was a nice move.
Yeah, let's see if 670's got some size. Don't stop me out. Let's take out 670 here instead. Here's 670. They're chomping at it. Stopped out. Damn it. I was really hoping we were going to move right through that. Ended up getting stopped for flat there.
But that's probably a good thing.
Look at it now. Sometimes your first stop is your best stop. Man, I really kind of wanted that push there. That's why I set it up like that, though. Damn. Now, do we run a halt risk down here? No, right? We probably find some support here at 582, 585.
Yeah, okay, so it would have to hold VWAP. If we lose VWAP, then I could see that accelerated downside move happen. There's no guarantee that it will, but I could see that happen if it loses VWAP. Because once we lose VWAP, then I'm sure a lot of traders are going to try to exit this. But if we rebound, then we still have a shot at that 780 level upside target. NXU. So a lot of these that we just were talking about, they had these big pops and they came right back in. NXU is another one. Octo, the Watt unhalted, popped, and then halted again. We just missed it because it's so quick.
Yeah, and that halted to the upside. I'll be honest, I'm okay not playing that one. Good luck if you're in this one, though. I mean, there you go. There's your upside halt. There's your level up.
What about UNG?
We look.
Yeah, we talked about. I mean, this thing has just slowly been moving up today. 1948 was the high. That was a nice move.
I mean, we talked about natural gas. We talked about LNG, not UNG. Yeah. So there.
The daily chart on UNG looks quite nice though. Coming up to some resistance though. It looks like 2160 might be a resistance area, and that's still a ways away, but looking like we were going to be heading in that direction, especially with the natural gas, not only the natural gas news, but the whole theme for next year. That's the earliest big resistance level I see, 2160.
Okay. Good stuff there. UNG, natural gas. INTZ after that pulse, trying to get back up there. Again, let's see what happens at 650. If we had better buying volume, I might try rebuying that spot. But if the volume doesn't participate here, I'll stay out of it. Don't need to get my profits evaporated by something crappy.
Yeah, INTZ is pretty. Have we seen NXU? Yeah, we have. We have seen it. It had that nice pop just recently. It's still above VWAP, so there's a good chance this still has the capability of going higher, recapturing $1. Should trade better once it does if it does recapture $1. So we'll see if we get that. Hollow trying to recapture its VWAP right now, trying to get over 4.
INTZ trying to recapture 650. It traded above it a few times, but it really hasn't been able to push there. Actually just got chopped down by some sell orders there as well. I did see some size there, 660 on INTZ. So some size above if it can pop and go, but it's been getting hit with some sellers.
Yeah, we just need to be patient with some of these.
Yeah. And don't try to be a hero either, right? Mm-hmm. We've got this market that's continuing to move down here. Now it does look like the selling is slowed down. NASDAQ and SPY are up off their lows. Looks like it's trying to hold in here.
NXU still looks like it could recapture $1. And yeah, I'm just I just need to see a little bit more indication from these as to where it's going to go. I mean, right now with INTZ, we have this doji that's not really telling me what it's going to do exactly. But if we do get above that 650 level again and hold above there, then I think we may end up going higher into the 7s. At 650 was a good level that you mentioned. GTI still getting resistance around that 165. I mean, it trades above it, but it's unable to close above 165.
I'm not looking to get evaporated today. I'm taking the day off. CEO protection unit. Yeah, good stuff. It is the holidays. So I'm with you on that. I'm still on some paid time off too, but I just love the show too much. There's no way I'm going to miss it.
Yeah, and nobody is really breathing down anyone's neck to make trades today. I mean, this is, you look at the SPY and you're like, this market might not be the greatest. And if you decide to sit on your hands, guess what? You're probably going to do better than some of the folks that are trying to trade this market during a red day. Look at BBAI now. This thing is just crazy. Up above VWAP, down beneath VWAP. Up above VWAP, down beneath VWAP. Now we're up again. Let's just.
I'm obviously still having some issues with some of my charts here.
Trading View has given us trouble. Sit on your hands. Let's just not get ourselves into any positions where we're just going to regret it. Let's get some smart, decent setups with good volume, and we'll take those trades, and we'll be done. And if we don't get that, then we don't get that, and we don't trade it. So Watt's finally open again. This looks like it's pushing higher. 155. Okay, well, never mind. It just blasted right through it. Might end up halting again. Nope. And we are approaching the pre-market high for Watt. And I like the fact that the person that just mentioned Watt, his name is JJ. That's perfect.
He's JJ Watt. Oh, yeah. That's too good.
And now we're going to halt. Nope. Oh, wow. It looked like we were going to halt there a second ago. I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. My charts are completely gone.
Well, okay. I'll tell you what, Tony. If you have to trade, I mean, if you're going to take any kind of risk, make the risk small. You know, this is a video game market right now. I'm just cycling through to see what looks good. Just waiting for things to, do something, set up at least. I mean, Watt is just kind of running away at the moment. 174 pre-market high. We're almost to that level. Kathy Austin mentioning SRFM. Take a look at that. Oh, this is Circle Mobility, and they had news on Friday, so this could be relative volume. Unless, let me see what happened on Friday. Did this move at all?
Yeah, moved down here. I got a little bit here. Moved down a little bit. Had an interesting pre-market. Really didn't break down, but evaporated all those pre-market gains.
Yes, I don't see any news on the day for SRFM, but the price action on the daily chart doesn't look too bad at all. Looks like it could be setting up a megaphone pattern. So we'll see if that's what we get out of that. Going back to some of these other names, looks like GTI is looking a little weak. Hollow still trying to get back above VWAP. ALAB, this one, it looks like it's been getting some support around 133.50. Been trying to recapture VWAP, not successful quite yet. Core trying to do the same thing, recapture VWAP.
KORE, right?
Yes. BBAI, this one pushing higher, but on pretty low volume. NLSP, that one also looks like it's curling. That one might get back up to its VWAP. NXU looks like it really wants to go. It's like it really wants to get back into $1. NXU. INTZ needs to make that breakout upside move soon, or else we're going to fall through the VWAP. Yeah, that might be true, Glenn.
What did he say? I think BBI has an underlying FOMO after it's mentioned being the next Palantir. I mean, that to me seemed not realistic, the next Palantir.
So did the move in Palantir, but we got that.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point.
I'm sorry to take the other side of that.
Yeah, but well, I mean, Palantir is like a real, like is the Big Bear product real and legit? Like Palantir is in a completely different situation. I still don't think the comparison is great.
Okay, well, I mean, I'll put it this way. Like, remember the back of 2020, 2021, the very same things were being said about Palantir.
Yeah, but it had a real product with real contracts, and I just does BBAI have that?
I would have to look into that some more, because I don't know, to be honest. But I don't even know who said it's going to be the next Palantir, to be honest.
Let's see what the
Also, yes, great mention on Watt. That one is trying to take out the pre-market high. 174 is the pre-market high. We are knocking on that door right now. Good mention on Surf Air Mobility. That just put in a new high as well. Everything's an X Palantir when you get paid per click. There you go, Amanda. That's a good one. NLSP curling.
I mean, I think one of the things that they were saying here is that there is possible potential Department of Defense angles for BBAI. And so if that were to actually materialize and you're able to get defense contracts, then I can understand. But I think that runway is long, and I think that you're going to have plenty of time to actually, like, we're going to see some of these contracts actually hit before we can make that. I don't know. We'll see. I understand why. I'm just not sure it actually gets there.
Watt is still pushing up, and it could. I mean, I just saw they just got a huge bunch of sell orders come in, so maybe not.
Stepping
now.
Away for just 1 sec.
No problem. But if we do continue with the upside in Watt, following a pullback here, 255 might be where it ends up going. Let's see here. Oh yeah, like Lucid is the next Tesla. Well, to that point though, Lucid really did get a whole bunch of bullish movement, but yeah, it ultimately was a nothing burger. And LSP, this one's still curling nicely. That was getting mentioned earlier. Let's go back to Watt. So hit a high of 179. They're bringing a whole bunch of bids around 175. I'm sorry, not bids, asks about 175. So there's a bit of a wall there on that one. So this might come back in a little bit. Not seeing anything set up too nicely right now. Watt's coming back in after they brought in a whole bunch of sell orders, but if it gets some support, maybe around 155, 150, if it gets support around there, it could come back up and take out those orders. So we'll see.
Amanda, government contracts move in a way that makes glacial movement look like the Indy 500. Man, are they slow. Well, that's kind of what I mean about we'll have time to see if that materializes. But with you there on the government being slow, nah. I mean, yeah, they are. If Peter Thiel joins BBAI, then it's possible. Peter Thiel seems to have that Midas touch, doesn't he? Okay.
So I'm just looking around, seeing.
It's okay. And actually, one of the things that I was looking at was INTZ here. Look at this. So we talked about 650 being that level. It's tried to go through this level a few times here. We've got a number of wicks on the top. I would say one of the things for INTZ, this is not done until this trend breaks. Now, maybe that ends right here. We'll see. But INTZ, I think we're setting up for something here. We're either going to break down. I got the VWAP there, 575. I have in the broker or in the prop account here, and then almost 540 in trading view. So we're either going to get a breakout or we might challenge some of those intraday highs here. INTZ.
Yeah, it's going to have to do it soon too.
Yep. Totally agree.
Because it's looking like if we don't get that in maybe like the next 10, 15 minutes, it's just going to roll over. And that's what the MACD is kind of telling us.
Yep. And really quickly, just to finish off the conversation here on INTZ, I see a little bit of size here at 635. That would have to fall.
Gorilla Technology that was getting mentioned earlier by Robert. That one's had a pretty good day. Got a nice about $4 move out of the gate.
On which one?
GRRR.
Oh, GRR.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of our favorites.
Well, as a Bears fan, you are saying "grr" a lot.
Yeah. I'm saying.
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A lot. Oh, I'll tell you what. Having a Sunday where they don't play is awesome because you can't have your heart ripped out of your chest, but also cashing 3 parlays on a Sunday, 3 out of 5 bets cashed.
Nice.
Just massive day yesterday. So I'll take that.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. 2 football and a hockey. I was out rolling yesterday. And now what we're going to do is we have a week of sports coming up here. I mean, we have the college football playoffs starting on Tuesday night, more college football games on Wednesday. We got the Lions tonight. I mean, the bets will be big. There will be a lot of them. James saying, just sitting here listening, twiddling my thumbs, waiting for 2024 to end. With you there, man. I'll tell you what, I'm really looking forward to 2025 because I do want to do some, rearranging of pieces on the board, if you will. I really do kind of want to have some themes identified early on, or confirmation of those themes identified early on. And no, James. So this was my little pro thing. 13. Maybe you've heard, and interrupt me if you have a trade. Interrupt me because I got nothing on right now. The only setup I'm kind of watching with half an eye here is INTZ. But listen to this. James here is asking, is tomorrow a short day? James is asking this because tomorrow's New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve. We always have a shortened day. The answer is no. We do not have a half day tomorrow. And I found out why just yesterday. Do you know why, 13? Do you know why New Year's Eve is not a shortened holiday?
Because there's no connection to any religion.
Close, but no, that's not the answer. The answer, and I got this from a 40-year market veteran. Okay. He said that the answer is because tax loss selling. There are some people that literally wait until the very last moment to sell something for a potential tax loss, and having the last day of the year be a half day really kind of throws a monkey wrench into the procrastinators. And as a result, maybe also because it's not connected to a religious holiday, they don't do the half day on New Year's Eve. I thought that was super interesting. I had never thought about that until literally yesterday.
No, that makes sense. I mean, you do a half day and you still have the tax loss sellers, you're going to have a pretty substantial red day. So spread that out.
The religion is taxes. Indeed it is.
No, that's a cult.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So anyway, no, we don't have a shortened day tomorrow. I'll tell you what. Well, it doesn't really matter what I'm doing. The adult beverages will be ready to go starting tomorrow. And you know what? I'm going to say this in honor of Art Cashin, who we lost earlier this month, I believe. We're going to be marinating some ice cubes in Art's honor. That is for sure.
What? I'm not sure if we're going to get a halt here or what, but oh no, we're not. This thing just had a whole bunch of bids come in, and I think they got eaten up. But it seems like right about here, this is an important level for Watt. I don't know if it's going to break out or not, but this seems like if it is going to break out, this would be where it is, the 180 level.
Real quickly, I know we were kind of having some fun there. The market is closed on New Year's Day.
Yes.
So on Wednesday, there will be no show. There will be no market. And also, we lost Jimmy Carter yesterday. The market will be closed in his honor on January 9th. So that's Thursday next week. That's going to make for 3 shortened weeks in a row. 3 shortened holiday weeks, I guess you could say, in a row. So Jimmy Carter's market closure, or the market will be closed in observance of Carter's passing on January 9th. Hope I said that correctly. Natural gas, by the way, pulled off that 420. Are you ready for this? 420 was the natural gas high.
Does that mean? Is the light in the sky?
I don't know. 420. We'll see if that actually works. 420 is your natural gas high here. We're pulling back off that high. 405 is your current price here on natural gas. So having a little bit of a corrective move there. Watt, by the way, as we were having that discussion, did take out that intraday high.
Yep. That was a
halted.
nice move. And halted. Yep. Great mention there, guys. Core for today, possible breakout. I see that as well in core. Like it really is trying to. Let me pull this back up. Where there it is. Back above VWAP at the moment. and it might get another impulsive move here pretty soon. But that it's so spready right now. The volume does need to be better in this one. But I see what you're saying when it comes to core. This one looks like it really does want to break out. And you could even draw a trend line to see that we are testing that breakout. We've tested it multiple times, twice already in the regular session. And Ryan, you could even pull it up there if you want. KORE, just draw the trend line. That's what we're trying to break out of.
Let me do that here real quick. I got sidetracked there. Here is your, you're not kidding, man. This thing jumps off the page at you. Mm-hmm. Here's the trend line we're trying to break. Yeah. I eyeballed it, so it might not be.
Oh, that's good enough.
Okay.
That's like just exactly what we're trying to illustrate here. Looks like Hollow is still trying to go as well. This one on a recovery, back above VWAP. This might move. How's the chart for Boeing looking? Well,
you know what? We haven't looked at Boeing since this morning, and it was recovering earlier. Okay, so it's right back down to the lows. So interesting. That opening print sold it to new lows. What's up?
Look at the daily.
Oh, you probably hate having it on the wrong one. I hate it. You're trying to show me something, and
I'm trying to show you. Yeah, I'm trying to show you that 200-day SMA bounced right off of it. Right off of it.
My goodness, could I not have some trouble with this so I could actually display this on screen?
Now, even with this bounce off the 200, I still don't know that we're going to just see this recover and break past 180. I think this may be a short-term bounce before it goes lower. This is just the beginning of the investigations. Who knows where we're going to find when South Korea does their looking into those over 100 planes at Boeing that they have. So we'll see. Good bounce off the 200. I don't know that it will hold. Might take a few more days though. You see what I'm referring to, though?
I don't have the 200 on there. I'm sorry, man. My other one with the 200s is not working. I'm not prepared to go back and forth a whole lot here today. I'm sorry, 13.
That's all good, Jen. I'll try to make it a little less.
Hollow, by the way, is continuing to trade up here. Looks like we're on our way to 450 here. INTZ, by the way, that ended up not going. So this actually rolled over here. But here we go. Right. You might have a test right here at the VWAP. I've got 568 as that VWAP.
Now, this is what we were alluding to when we were talking about how it needed to, start to make that push up, that volumetric move up. Otherwise, this was going to happen. It just got too weak. So sold. And the MACD was telling us that the whole time. So maybe we get a bounce here. That'd be great. But, if we don't hold up the VWAP, then could go down to about 470. Could happen.
We'll see if we end up bouncing here. Actually, look at this. So far, pretty decent bounce. We'll see if we hold on to that here. INTZ. What else we got?
Archer finding support around 990, says Robert.
Oh, look at ONDS.
Okay,
How about that?
I like this from CEO Protection Unit. Great mental trading day. Start a watch list and keep track of the prices, or even go into and make a spreadsheet. Keep practicing with air money before you dive in. That's great, especially when you can't find things to trade. And we've been saying, if this is one of those days where it makes more sense to sit on your hands, do stuff like that. And I mean, especially for January 9th, that would be a great day to build watch lists and look into deep dive into some companies. I mean, that's probably going to be what I end up doing. Hollow coming back in a little bit, trying to get support from VWAP.
You can never go wrong with preparation, right? If you're preparing for what you might see ahead, you can never go wrong with that. I think that's always a good use of your time.
And we've talked a lot about the different themes that are coming up for next year. So take those themes, look for all the companies within those themes, maybe even, their customers and their suppliers. So you can kind of get, the thing behind the thing as well, and build a watch list, do some deep dives, find out which companies you like the most that look like they have a lot of upside to them, or that they can give you a good return. Because you don't obviously want to pick stuff up that have gone on a huge run. You want to get stuff that's been beaten up that looks good for that theme.
You want to get stuff that's starting for a run,
Yeah.
not completing it. Yeah, absolutely.
And-
CTI, this did pop above its recent intraday high. That looks like it's going.
And natural gas has been one sector that's been absolutely hammered this year. But now we're talking about how natural gas is going to be an interesting play, especially with the news we've been getting out of Ukraine and the EU.
Energy in general has
Just
been
energy
kind
in
of a
general.
rough play.
Yeah, absolutely. Watt open and over 2. Well, it just was a second ago. So Watt, one of the better movers this morning. Let's see. I thought I had a level for this one as well. Let me see here. I don't know. Well, it's possible. Maybe we get to 255 in Watt. It's possible. That's the 65 EMA on the weekly. It's possible. Still watching for core. The next big move it makes to this trend line, it might be the one that breaks it. But we're going to need to see the volume expand with that as well. BBAI, here we go again. Now recapturing VWAP.
This core looks pretty good. As long as that holds above VWAP, that looks pretty good. Here's your BBAI chart. This also looks pretty decent, to be honest.
Another flight to safety in Mullen.
Oh, gosh.
PDYN, nice move from the lows. Let me take another look at that. Where do I have PDYN? It must be down here. There it is. Oh, yeah, nice bounce off 1029. Back through all the EMAs and VWAP. Kind of in pre-market consolidation land right now. But I think it leaves that territory around 1460, and then you just have these, mostly highs in the way.
NXU curling here. Hollow just reclaimed the VWAP. Maybe that's starting for another move. PDYN, I don't think I looked at that one. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that recovery on Paladine.
Yeah.
Man, oh, man. Man, oh, man, that was good.
I'm just looking around here. Well, okay. So Hollow is still having a hard time with its VWAP. Octo, PLRZ, BBAI. BBAI. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say Octo looks like it wants to go lower. CTM trying to go higher here. You were looking at which one? BBAI?
I just was clicking across it. Yeah. Just trying to see what all these other ones are doing. See if there's anything worth trading. NXU. That was a big spike there.
Yeah, it sure was. Right back to $1 here on NXU. The volume spike was good.
Now, if this gets over $1 and it can hold that, we might see some more upside in this one. Pre-market high in this one was 109. We could go much higher than that if the volume comes in and we start to hold $1.
What levels do we see in WIMI? I don't even have WIMI on the scanner here. WIMI hologram call. This is actually a pretty decent move here. This the high here, 267 from yesterday. 267 from today. Friday's high was 277. I can find you some better levels here. 250 looks to be a level. 257, 267, 277. All look to be spots.
I like the 350 area. Let me see if I can find something a little closer.
Is that from a daily?
That
350.
It's on any time frame. It's just previous price action. I went to the weekly.
I'll tell you what, this 350, this was a previous support area in 2021.
Yeah, that really stood out to me, so that's why I was bringing that level up. Because that's going to be the most. That looks like the most standout level to me on a longer time frame. Shorter time frame, there might be some others because we're still down at 250 right now. So maybe 310, maybe 295. I mean, I say maybe with those. I don't know how reliable those levels will be. I just really like the 350 level the most.
Okay. That's good stuff there, though. There you go, Jenny. Chinese quantum play here. So maybe there's another move here for Wimmy.
Pulling. So Watt is halted to the downside now. Gurr coming back in, might be getting some support from a 9 EMA on the 5-minute. I don't know if that's going to provide enough support. There might be better support in the 22 area. Core still trying to go back up to that trend line. NXU, that one's also halted. That got above $1. So let's see what happens when this unhalts.
Honda's still bouncing back here. Really good action here on ONDS. PGen, penny stock, but at its pre-market high here. INTZ. Ooh, maybe we are bouncing from the VWAP on INTZ. Maybe. We want to see some buying volume come in here. We've done a really good job holding the level so far, like the VWAP level, but you can see that the volume has really just kind of tailed off here and turned into selling volume. We want that to change. Beach Bum, good to see you. Walter, good to see you.
Hey.
Danny, good to see you. Just in case I haven't said good morning to all you folks. Jay, Wiss, Robert, of course. Good morning, good morning, good morning. DS, Larry. Good morning. Hopefully you all had a great holiday, and we're gearing up here for New Year's. Amateur night, as they like to say, as far as the drinking holidays go.
Yeah, folks are mentioning RCAT. That's not having too bad of a morning at all. Actually coming up to the pre-market highs and pretty soon, 1320. Some other ones that I was noticing that were doing pretty good as well.
Yeah.
SLPD, that one popped, came back in, and now it's kind of just going sideways on its
SLPD.
Yeah, this is a solid power. We traded this one like last week. I'm sorry, DP. I'm sorry, that was my fault.
I was gonna say, dude, I'm not finding a ticker for that. But SLDP, here you go.
Yeah. So that one was holding up. It's getting held up by its VWAP. Moves very slowly, but that one was interesting. So it's kind of waiting to see what happens to this consolidation. Maybe it doesn't do much of anything today, but at some point that consolidation is going to end. Paladine, that had a nice pop recently, close to the pre-market highs. I think this got up to almost 15, came back in. So let's see if this one sets up again. Because if it does set up and go higher, try to take out 15, I think we might get the pre-market highs. All right, back to some of these other ones that we were trading. Core still looking pretty good for a trend break. INTZ still trying to hold that.
Bitcoin actually bounced a little bit off the morning lows here. I don't think any of the plays are going with it. Let me take a look at MSTR here real fast. We talked about this really kind of going back to 300 here. It's like we tried to test 300. Core you were looking at? Here we go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this is probably the best looking setup I see if we take this trend line out.
Yeah. It's looking pretty good to me. Steve Luxembourg mentioning BKYI. I'll take a look at that. Don't know what it is, but I'll look at it.
We've traded this one before. BioKey International.
Oh, yeah.
BKYI. This actually has an interesting area right up here, 174, 175.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. We take that out. Let's see what else we got here. Okay.
Real Sergeant Sexy, dummy question. How long do the halts last? Not dummy. They vary. Those volatility halts, 5, 10, 15 minutes. are normally those 5 or 10, I think, is the common one. The halted news pending, I mean, that can be indefinite.
Indefinite, yeah.
Yeah.
NXU, this one's back open. And popped up to 113, trying to hold $1.
That did pop above its pre-market high there. Good stuff there, NXU.
Just waiting to see what core does.
Hey, look, SPCB Supercom. Did we talk about this one in happy hour, or was this SPCB? Was this it?
Yes, that's the one.
This is the one, right? And this is actually up here, 21%.
It's one of those Andy specials.
Yeah, tell you what.
As far as BKYI goes, I mean, it seems to me like it's the level you pointed out was where it needs to go. It's trying to do it right now. That 175. Big wall at 180.
Let me go back to it because I took my eyes off of it for a sec. BKYI, you were saying?
Yeah, a big wall at 180, and based on this the volume, it's going to need to really expand in order to get through that. So that's the thing I'd be watching for if I was into the BKYI. Expanding volume to get it through 180 could go to 2. Looks like some of these are rebounding as well. GUR trying to rebound. WIMI trying to rebound. I
don't. Interesting.
NXU had a pop. We already covered that. So it's still trying to hold $1. BBAI trying to test the intraday highs now.
Natural gas also trying to trade back up here after that initial pullback. Here is your BBAI. This is a pretty decent intraday formation. Volume stick looks good here, BBAI.
Folks have been mentioning LAES this morning. So, here we go. Core. This is right at the trend line now.
There it is.
If you want to take a look at that one, I'm going to look and see what LAES is doing. LAES is on a rip right now. 918 is the level to get through, and it's right there. And now it just printed 1920. Gosh, I don't know. I should have been looking at this much earlier. This thing was just having a great setup. This one looks like it could end up going to 980, maybe higher.
BKYI here, this is also interesting. This is about 76% of its average volume traded yet here today. I think that this might go for 100. This might break the spot right here, BKYI. That and core, interesting setups at the moment.
Oh, UMAX going again. Yeah, core getting a little bit of resistance from that trend line, but man, it is right there. If the volume can just expand, this thing will be awesome.
UMAC, this is another decent mention here. You guys, yep. UMAC, this was part of the drones, right? Unusual Machines is part of that drone theme.
Yeah, and Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah, with Trump Jr. joining the board, but I just mean the company itself is in that drones theme that's hot right now. Can't seem to miss in that theme.
Yeah. NXU back beneath $1.
Decent pop on volume there, though, on NXU. How's Hollow holding in there? Hollow, this actually might be setting if it can roll through that. If it rolled through that VWAP, excuse me. 406, that spot there on Hollow.
Yeah, it's just, really having a time with VWAP right now. Trading above it, trading beneath it. We just need to see it move away from it once it gets back above. Okay, let's see what core can do. It's looking good at the moment.
Right through it. Nice job. That was a really good call on that trend line too.
Well, let's see how high this takes it. If we want to see this thing,
there it goes. Well, all you had to do was start talking about it. 13, keep going, dude.
Let's go to 5.
Nice little pop there. 470 is the high print that I have here.
That was just a really good break of the trend line. Exactly what you want to see on the technical side.
Now this core is spready. This thing's spread 20 cents, it looks like, just about.
That is one thing that gives me caution over it. But man, that trend line was all I was looking at as well. I mean, yeah, and I mentioned how spready that thing was, and we needed to see the volume. Volume is expanding now. Take us to 5. LAES.
So one like this, so this is interesting too. I didn't trade core here, but one of the things that I'm looking at here, this would have been one that you really kind of have to position yourself for, because buying that break with as spready as this is, buying that break probably not the best way to go. And frankly, you're probably not able to hit a bid to scalp your way out of that. So really kind of being patient here and positioning yourself and waiting for the pop. That seems to be the way to play this here. You start to get some volume to flow in here, like to continue to expand, like you were just touching on. Not only do I think that you can test 5 here, you should be able to close your position pretty easily there. Here we go. Now starting to move back up here. Spread is starting to tighten, or at least temporarily there, to about 10 cents.
Yeah, I think it even got to just a few cents shy of the pre-market high. It went to 487. So lots of people up in the 490 area that wanted to get out, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, now it's pulled back 50 cents because of that spread. So core pulling back a little bit here.
I mean, I'm fine with whatever it wants to do now. I just wanted to see that trend break, and man, did it ever. Did it ever. All right, so hollow now back above its view. Let's see if this one can get going as well.
Yeah. And look at this too on hollow 13. We have a trend in the opposite direction here, trying to support maybe this curl movement.
Yeah, so when it comes to trends like that, that's what you want to see, the price action right up. But as soon as you start to see that break, that's going to usually be your indication to sell and get out of that. So once a trend breaks, then there's likely to be more downside ahead. How much?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, but for the purpose of the trading that technical, I would just be selling if I broke the trend. And that means closing beneath it. I don't want to just accidentally sell into a dip that gets bought and rips higher.
Here's CTM. Wow, this kept going. CTM here, 3 and 305 might be your next area of resistance there. CTM.
NXU trying to hold above $1. Let's see if this one can get through 108. That was the big. That's a big area that has all these sell orders. So if we get through 108 in NXU, this may get going here.
NXU volume looking pretty good here too. This actually looking like this might expand 13. I think you're on to something here. NXU.
Oh wow, core really had a big pull off that move.
Hey, big Prince. Really quickly here. Big, just kind of caught this out of the corner of my eye. Oh, come on, platform. Don't die. Of course, that's what you did. Of course, that's what you did. Right when I was trying to demonstrate something too, 13. It always does it like right when I'm getting ready.
Here we go with NXU. While you're taking a look at that, it's going to.
Well, here, I'm going to try to go to what I was going to before. NXU, okay. You were spot on with your break there to the break to the highs. But this is what I was going to mention here.
Oh, wow.
ONDS, we had a big volume pop here. This volume pop took us through 3, but I also see big time prints on the tape here. 82,500 followed by a 67,500 print, both at 297. That absolutely launched this here. And now we continue to trade higher here. Prints looking pretty good. ONDS, that was a nice little pop there on volume. That ate up a lot of the sellers that we saw from earlier. Pre-market high here on ONDS, 339. This is not out of the question if this volume continues here. We need the volume to continue. We'll see. And remember, this is not a new trade. This is a trade that I've been in for a while, so nothing new on this one. Boy, the volume is really starting to flow here now. We got another huge print there. 139,000 go across the tape there, 305. 67,000 across the tape there, 307. Boy, I tell you what, there's some stuff going on here. ONDS.
Stock's popular.
Look, I'm already in it. I already have the plan here. I just hope to be happy at the end of the day. I'm not actively trading this one. I'm waiting this out. It's easier, much easier on me to just kind of hold it.
UNG recaptured its VWAP. It's a little slow moving, but it's looking a bit stronger. Just need to see if it can continue to hold its VWAP. If it does, I'm looking for a move over 1920. That seems to be where some of the resistance is. We had a breakout of over 1920 early in the morning here. Had a bit of a reversal candle, came right back in and lost it. Have not been able to get back above 1920 since. So that would be the level for me, new NG, to break above 1920.
Okay. Stuff there on UNG. Watt 169. INTZ, is it trying to curl? Oh man, what a breakdown on that one. That trend line break that told the story. This is actually trying to pop here a little bit, but I'll tell you what, that trend line break told the story there.
Mm-hmm.
SPCB, right. That's near the highs. Here's Hollow. Hollow's still riding that trend line to the upside, 13.
Yeah, it's holding above VWAP. I mean,
you're right. I was riding is wrong. It's holding that trend line so far.
Just trying to see what else looks good. I mean, maybe BioKey. I mean, I don't know. Just trying to look around and see what's providing a decent setup for a trade. Nothing looks too good at the moment. Some might, I don't know though. When I'd say maybe Watt, but I just don't like the way.
Oh, by the way, sorry, this is so late, 13. But because this was such a good mention by you, I feel like I have to look at this thing. This Boeing absolutely dropped down and tested that 200 and bounced from there. I mean, I'm sorry I couldn't show this earlier when you were talking about it when it was topical, but my goodness, that was good. My goodness, that was good.
It's the earliest level that I saw. I didn't see really anything else. Now, what happens next? Maybe it tries to backfill that gap, but I don't know how much more upside we're going to get here. I feel like this still is going to end up going lower as more information of the investigation comes out. Maybe some other bad news catalyst comes out in between that time. I just don't know yet. But the 200 EMA, the 200 SMA was a really good bounce level. Glad if anybody took that trade there, if it worked out for them, great. But for after now, after this move, that's what I'd be watching for, is to see if we can backfill that gap that was created, or if we're going to end up lower. My first instinct is that we're going to continue to move lower in the coming days.
Real quick here, Glenn was mentioning here, ONDS, take a look at the weekly 200 SMA. Glenn, I was having all types of issues with my charts here, so I don't think I have enough data to draw a 200-week SMA, but I pulled it up in my broker that utilizes a different data feed, and that spot is literally at 363. So yeah, I'm going to try to put my cursor here. The 200-week moving average right where my cursor is, it sure looks like ONDS, is trying to touch that area. We'll see if it gets up there. Glenn, that's a really good mention, just can't demonstrate it here.
If some of you folks are taking off for the day, have a great day. I think that's Lion and CEO. Take care, guys. We'll see you again.
It's going to be me shortly. I'm still on vacation time here. I got a date with the golf simulator today, so I can't wait. We're going to get out there and get some swings in.
All right.
Look, it's been a good day so far.
Yeah, given the the state of the market, it's been pretty good. Where are we at with the market anyway right now? I haven't checked into that in a bit.
SPY here up off the lows. 586 is your current price. Looks like 585 gave us some support. The entire market, NASDAQ, SPY, Dow, all of them up off the lows here.
Okay.
And real quick, Mo, I know you've been all over this. You've been all over INTZ here today. INTZ 8 failed attempts, 8 to break 550. Did we really to the downside in the last 10 minutes? Interesting. Well, I'll tell you what. The more attempts we get, the more likely that is to break. But if it can't, you can. We've already seen one spike here. Look at this. This happened in just the last few minutes, didn't it?
Oh, yeah. UNG got hit hard. Couldn't hold that VWAP, or just couldn't get the volume. So now we're headed lower. Just looking around and seeing what's trying to. There's just not a whole lot of things setting up the way I would like right now. Things just start getting weak. Do you see anything that's got some strength to it? Because everything looks weak to me.
I'm look, it's not a new trade. You asked me a question. Honestly, of all of these little things that I'm looking at here, no, there is not a lot of strength out there. You're right. The only place that I see some good strength and good trading action here is in ONDS. But that's not a new trade for me. I'll say it again. Robert, oh, your stick. I see. That comment fooled me. Comment fooled me. We're almost there. We got 2 minutes left here. Let's see. We got 1.5 minutes left here before we're done for the day. We're going to send you to story trading right after that. So stick around.
Tesla's at an interesting level, by the way.
Let's look at it.
If you look at a daily chart, it seems to be getting support from the 20-day SMA, and I have a fib level here that it's kind of getting support from too. So that's, I mean, I think I may have drawn it a little bit differently than yours, but either way, that 20-day SMA and this 420 area, really interesting price action we're having here. I'd say if we lose that 20-day SMA, then we are probably going to have a pretty good fall.
Okay, you're right. We're right there on Tesla. Robert, you're wiring up fireworks. That's pretty awesome, Robert. Video, pictures. I'm interested in that. That sounds cool. Be careful with fireworks, though. You guys are on point. Have a good afternoon, boys. You too, Mo. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks everyone for hanging out here today. It's 13. We got about 15 seconds left here. Any closing words for the group? Oh, you know what? I literally asked him a question and then took him off instead of taking my screen off. 13, entirely unintentional. I literally clicked the wrong bubble. I'm sorry, boss.
Oh, no problem. Hey, folks, this might just be a day where we just, watch and maybe build some watch lists, not do so much trading because things are not looking the greatest. So until we see some things that are going to, provide us some better trades and give us a little bit more confidence in trading this market, let's just have a nice rest of the day and do something else. Maybe get ready for tomorrow or for 2025 with the different things we've talked about. So I'll see you tomorrow then, folks. All right.
Yeah, and I like your idea of reading up and research and all that you were talking about earlier, 13. I think that's really, really smart. So producer here, he's gonna send us out. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early at 8 a.m. for the final day of the year. 13 and I are gonna wrap up 2024 tomorrow. Have a good one. 13, we're going to do happy hour today. We'll probably have some more stuff to talk about here tomorrow. We'll wrap that up tomorrow. Folks, thanks for hanging out with us. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. We will